Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. The stars have aligned once again, and we're going to be talking about Paper Mario on the Constellation podcast. With me, as usual, I have my editor and the person that records these things, Nerdy.
Eh.
I have that Shadow Siren on again.
What's up, everyone?
I have a new guest, Shy Dude,
Hey, what's up?
and a semi-celebrity guest, a good friend of mine, Super Mario T.
Yeet-haw. That's gonna be my introduction.
Thank you. This is great.
We'll
This
leave
is
that
great
in.
already.
I'll leave that.
Thank you all for joining me today to talk about one of my favorite series of all time, Paper Mario. And before we get into anything, can I get actually no, we'll go to the first topic. We'll go for our favorites and not so favorites and our in-betweens. So basically, what entries and what parts of the Paper Mario series do you like and dislike? And it could be on both just an entry level, then on a bit of a microscopic level with different aspects of the series. And seeing as we have our special guest here, we'll have SMT go first since he's sort of known for making Paper Mario discussion videos. That's how I was introduced to him, at least.
Alright, so I think it should come as to no surprise. My favorite Paper Mario is the first one, the Thousand Year Door, and even Super Paper Mario. Even as how different Super Paper Mario is, that was kind of the point of its design. It was trying to go for a different approach in terms of gameplay and the overall aesthetic and the world it was trying to delve into. But the types of aspects I look for in a Paper Mario game is like good gameplay, good writing, charisma, personality within the enemies, the main protagonists, antagonists, etc. Like, this is all stuff I've talked about a lot before, just like good characters, some good gameplay. If it plays and looks and feels very similar to the first two games in particular, then that's basically the type of Paper Mario game that would end up being up really high on my favorite list.
All right. Siren, what do you think?
So my favorite is obviously Thousand Year Door.
I
Just my
mean, that's
name's
pretty
on
clear.
We can tell.
there. So the second, it's very hard to pick a second one because on one hand you have the 64 version, the first one. On the other hand, you have Super Paper Mario because the story is just out of this world, insanity. But what I look for, I think Paper Mario, I think is a lot similar to another RPG series made by Nintendo, Earthbound. So it's not so much about the story as much as the characters, the interactions, the personality.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting distinction because one of the issues I've always had when it came to people's complaints about Paper Mario was them describing how they had expansive story. But I think what you really need when it comes to a Mario RPG or a charming RPG in general is not the overall intricacies of the overarching narrative. Sometimes all you need is some good characters. Super Paper Mario had an excellent story, and we'll get to that later, but I think one of its main issues was that it was a bit too much. And I think in general, it could have been streamlined just a bit. But I agree with you on that. That character interactions and story is an important part of a series like Paper Mario, and that's what makes it work in many cases.
I'd say Mario and Luigi could serve as a good example of this as well. I mean, they're both different RPGs mechanically and structurally, but a bunch of the Mario and Luigi games have like a variety of characters. Even in the later games, they kind of just settled on the more generic, basic kind of Mario characters, like the Koopa Links, Toadette, etc. But they still have personality.
They make it work.
Yeah.
But at that, one nitpick I had with Paper Mario 64 was right after the introduction to your partners, they never speak again. They almost never do.
It's the same with the pixels. That was an issue. That was an issue with though the pixels, in fairness, were made as thinking tools in the lore. So it's not like they were designed to be individual thinkers that speak their own minds all the time. But when it comes to 64, that was a bit of an odd thing. But it was the first time that they had partners, so I suppose they were just trying to get the mold down.
I think Thousand Year Door is guilty of that too.
No,
I think it's to a lesser extent.
If you play the game with the different partners, they slightly different modified dialogue for every
Depending on
interaction
the
they talk.
True.
Pixels just never talk again beyond their introduction,
Yeah.
except for
They're, like,
Tippy.
quiet throughout the entire game, unless
Yeah.
if you like need them.
Though it is nice that the 64 partners get to show up in some of them. One, I
Yeah,
think
Lady
Bo
Bo.
shows up.
Yeah,
Lady
Yeah,
Bao
Bo
shows
and
up.
Parakarry.
And Parakarry.
Yeah, Parry.
Parakarry.
And then you
Mark
have
Carey
those
was always one
cards
of my
in
favorite
Super Paper
characters.
Mario. Once you
Mhm.
clear the 100 pit of trials.
Actually, no, you get
The
the
Samurai Kingdom.
Yeah, the Samurai Kingdom is when you get the partner cards for 64 and TTYD.
Oh,
Not
okay.
worth it, by the way. Definitely not worth it. But Nerdy, I know you don't really have much of a background with Paper Mario, and I know
Yeah,
you haven't
but
played the games recently.
yeah, the only game I played when I was like young was Super Paper Mario, and I did not play very much of it. I do still remember playing like some of it, and I remember liking it, and I do have slight nostalgia for the beginning of the game. But the one I really got in depth with, or at least like got somewhere even close to into the game, was That's in Your Door, which I did stream sort of, which SMT also invaded into at one point.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you just joined in, and I was streaming it on a emulator at 30 FPS, half the frame rate. So, oh god, it was
Pokemon
grueling.
Platinum all over again.
Yeah, it was
Oh, no.
grueling to walk through. But I now own an GameCube, which I found for $10 at a thrift store, which it's
$10?
You lucky
Ten
bastard.
stars.
$10.
I
You are
found
so lucky.
I found two
Join the
GameCubes
lottery, man.
and
Wheels are
a
very generous.
PS1, all for 30, and all of them combined to be $30.
I got a PS2 for $30 with like 10 games.
Yeah, no, it didn't come with any of the wires and none of the games.
Yeesh.
Which,
Oh.
but
What a
that's
story, Mark.
But I gave one of the
That's-
GameCubes to my other friend, and I now have the PS1, and I now have the wires for the GameCube, and That's in Your Door, which
That
I
is
played.
honestly ludicrous.
Yeah, I was. My mom told me I wouldn't find anything by going to the thrift store, and I found that on the first day I went, and I was a happy boy.
Good shit, my dude.
But I then played through quite a bit of Thousand Year Door, and I didn't get to as far as I did on the live stream. I got to chapter like the beginning of chapter 2 in the live stream. I did not reach to that point on the GameCube, on my actual GameCube. But I did remember, because I have a personal hate for turn-based RPGs, but it's the one outlier, that the only turn-based RPG that I like because of just how the gameplay of it stands. I don't really care much about the story per se, but I mainly do it for the gameplay, and the gameplay is quite nice.
It's just that good.
Yeah, I need to play it again.
It's like Persona 5 in that respect. I haven't played Persona 5, but I heard people who hate turn-based RPGs like Donkey actually really like that game.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
So-
I have a couple of friends that said they did not like the only RPG other than Persona they played was Pokemon, but like other than that, they didn't like turn-based RPGs. And when they
I need-
played Persona 5, they like love it.
I need to, yeah, because I did not like Pokemon for that fact. Which apparently, from what I hear, from Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's like gonna be different. So I might give it
That
a
is.
shot again. But yeah, I liked the combat mechanics of Thousand Year Door, and because that's the only one, Thousand Year Door is the only one that's fresh in my memory, and I have yet to go back to Super Paper Mario because the disc is long gone.
Whew.
So I'm gonna have to rebuy
If you have a
it.
Wii U, it's on Wii U. It's available for digital
Wait.
purchase.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yeah, it
my
is.
Wii U's, my storage. Actually, yeah, I can just wipe my storage for Wii U.
I can't believe
Oh.
that Nintendo. I can't believe that Super Paper Mario's on Nintendo Selects. I suppose it's sold super well, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's the
and
highest,
I do just remember liking it in
Sold Paper
general.
Mario game.
Yes, sir.
I think that's more circumstantial than anything else.
Right.
Shy Dude, what do you think of Paper Mario? What do you look for in a Paper Mario game?
So can I like say like some parts of history? Is that like a different topic? like history with Paper Mario.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna get to
Okay.
that. We're doing it a bit out
Okay.
of order. I was gonna get to that after that.
So like when in Paper Mario, my favorite game obviously is Thousand Year Door because I just like the like
Obvious.
aesthetic of it. Like I do like the original 64 version of Paper Mario, which I do. It has a certain charm to it, but I honestly like Thousand Year Doors because it looks more like how would I say this like Mario's model. I enjoy a lot more, which was then carried over to Super Paper Mario. But as for like gameplay wise, I know this is I honestly like the first two the best. Super is great, even though the gameplay changed. I personally think it's fine, but I can see why some people don't like it, especially
Yeah.
with the whole flipping 3D stuff and whatnot. The whole flipping into 3D. I kind of
As a
really didn't like
kid,
that.
I lost it over that mechanic because I was like, it was so cool to me as a
No,
kid.
I got stuck on like the first level when I first played Super because I didn't know
Oh, I
about the
did
flipping
too.
thing,
I
and
did too. Um,
I was like, what?
and then I got stuck later on because I didn't know what to do. But now I do know what to do at this point.
As for Color Splash and Sticker Star, when Sticker Star got announced, I was like, oh my god, a new Paper Mario game. And I kind of liked it, but then as time grew, I just didn't like it. It just didn't have the same feel. And the same can be said with Color Splash, but I will say, like, some of the environments in Color Splash make me feel like that's an environment I would have seen in, like, the original Paper Mario or Thousand Year Door.
I think we're gonna get to Sticker Star later on, knowing
Yes,
who's in
sir.
Or
this
right
voice chat.
now. Just kidding.
Oh boy,
Just
this is
kidding.
where a
Uh,
few
Oh, shit.
feathers are gonna
As
get
for
ruffled.
As for me and what I look for in a Paper Mario game, and excuse me if you hear tapping sounds, there's a like a bug in the room. But what I look for in a
Ask him
Paper
to join the
Mario game
podcast.
is exactly. First of all, I look for gameplay first. Gameplay above all else is something I really want.
Same.
And my biggest issue with Thousand Year Door is that a lot slower than the first one.
I
That's
will
what kind
agree
of
with
held it
that.
back for me. It felt so slow
I
compared
think
to
I should play
the
the first game.
original.
I
And there
think I would
wasn't
really like
really
the
Should.
first game.
yeah, and there wasn't
Pretty
really an
Blitzville and Twilight
excuse.
Town are repetitive.
I mean, I have an
Yeah.
N64. I could definitely just buy the cartridge and play it on N64.
I love Blitzville, but I will agree it does get repetitive, but there's something about it that I like.
I would have been less bothered by the movement speed in T2ID if 64 didn't already have it down pat with the spin dash.
Yeah.
So
spin
that's
dash.
just
I
that's
think
just
it's,
one
like I
issue.
said, I think it's just an excuse to get Kid Yoshi a purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would make
Also,
sense.
also
It
before
is a bit
recording this,
frustrating.
you guys were mentioning the spin dash, and I was very confused. As
Oh
someone who
no,
hasn't
you
Thought
played
we
that
were
game.
talking about
could
Sonic.
twirl.
I was like, I knew you guys were what you guys were talking about. I heard spin dash, and for like a split second, I was like, wait,
I
what?
think
That was
I
last
think this
episode.
I think the standard ability is called the spin twirl, but then the badge you get to make it go faster is called the spin dash. It is nice though.
It has to be. It has to be some sort of nod, or maybe they just
Yeah,
didn't.
that's why I made that have remark, because like spin dash, like Sonic
It-
spin dash.
It is nice that the spin dash is able to immediately eliminate with
Just like the spin
You got-
dash in
you're
Sonic
ready-
games.
you're able to on the field if you're powerful enough, you're able to eliminate enemies later used in Sticker Star. Whenever you have a certain amount of royal stickers, you can first strike an opponent and they'd instantly be
See, that's why. Oh, whoops. Okay, hold on.
the 1-1 of that game.
All right,
with
real quick,
royal
my
stickers.
internet just basically cut out for a solid 2 seconds, and none of what you guys said picked up.
Oof. Well,
Damn.
the royal sticker. What I'm basically trying to say is that stuff like the spin dash upgrade and the royal sticker getting rid of enemies instantly off the field, like in Earthbound, is really cool.
Yeah.
And I wish more RPGs implemented that. I know Pokemon can't do it since catching is kind of a huge part of that game. Though the wild area seems to be a good compromise in Sword and Shield. Though we'll be talking about that next time, I think. As for our history with Paper Mario, I think I think I'll go first this time around with my history. I started out playing TTYD. That was the first one I played, actually. GameCube I had a GameCube, and I played TTYD all the time, along with Mario Party 7. Yeah, Mario Party 7. And then I got into Super soon after, and I love that game. And then Sticker Star comes out, and then I end up loving that game just as much as the others. I
That
was
one
not
statement is going to.
It's
Oh boy.
it's gonna break the internet. I mean, it didn't break the internet the first time I said it on the podcast, so I'm again
Okay.
probably.
Probably.
But
Talk
when
about
it
Reddit.
comes, exactly. But when it comes to, it was weird because I experienced all three styles in my childhood, but I ended up liking them just as much as the others. When it came to Super was one I got super invested in. Super invested in, but because of the characters, and I really enjoyed the characters a lot. But but looking back on it, it has so many issues, and we'll talk about those issues. But there were so many different things holding it back, unfortunately. And then Sticker Star is its own thing, and then TTYD is just a bit slow for me. But in any case, I love those games a lot, even if I am critical of them. And I think that's an important thing to realize, is that sometimes if you love something, you got to be critical of it.
Like
And
Moon
I'll
Unleashed.
exactly. If you, which one you guys want to go next? I want.
I don't have the doc opened up. Here.
I'll go.
Nice. All right.
So with me and Paper Mario, I was not a Mario head when I was a kid. I was like Mario until like I was like 9 years old. I didn't get into Paper Mario when I was like 10. When I had after playing Bowser's Inside Story and Partners in Time.
Ooh.
And I found out about Paper Mario through Sugar Connor, right? And I was like, "Whoa, this game looks pretty great."
Respect.
But I didn't have anything, so I first played Super. Oh wait, no, I first played Super, then I found out about Chugga Khan, right? And I found out about the first two games. I bought the original one on the Wii Virtual Console, and I ended up loving it. About like a couple months later, I bought Thousand Year Door. It was at GameStop. It was like at my local GameStop for like I think it was $14.
Bruh.
I bought it off a website for I want to say $68.
Nice.
Wow.
Just to
But
play
I
that
was
game.
like, I was like so happy when I found it for like $14. I was like, "Mom, can you get this for?" I remember that day. She bought me a slice of Little Caesars pizza and that game, and I was like, "Let's get this, bread."
Caesar.
And then, and then all of a sudden, Color Splash comes out. I ended up liking the game for a bit, but as time grew on, I was like, it just really isn't. You know, I think I said before what I said about Color Splash. In my opinion, it's a slight improvement, but I will say like the whole like the card system, like looking down at your gamepad, I really thought that was tedious, and I kind of wish they. But it's like it's on the Wii U, but they could have kept it at the top screen. I mean, I don't know, but I just found something more charming about Color Splash than Sticker Star, probably because of the writing. Like the writing in Color Splash, oh my lord.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard from screenshots and from reviews of the game that the writing
Like the
is pretty
screenshot
good.
we're using for this video.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that example
But
right there.
but there's okay. When it came to Color Splash, Color Splash was a similar case to Sticker Star to 64 compared to TTYD. It was a very similar case where Color Splash definitely upped the charm department. Definitely was a bit more ambitious, but it was so slow and tedious compared to Sticker Star. And and it was a TTYD esque case for me when comparing 64 and TTYD and then Sticker Star to Color Splash. I prefer Sticker Star, and I played it like 40 times at this point because it's faster and because I'm able to get into the gameplay. In Color Splash, getting things like the thing cards takes so much time, And while the dialogue isn't an issue, there are some tedious elements that do hold it back for me. No matter how much aesthetic charm it has, if the gameplay falls apart for me, then I'm not going to be able to enjoy it.
I'll give credit. I'll give some credit because like there's like a shit ton of toads in the game. I can give some type of credit for them trying to make them somewhat stand out.
Piper's one of my favorite Paper Mario characters.
But yeah, that's with me and Paper Mario.
You know what?
I hope we get
After
a
we
good
record
Switch
this,
game.
I'm gonna play Paper Mario again.
That's a good idea.
I think we'll get a Switch game, just not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they made
Give
a
it 2
Switch
years.
game and they made it,
Mario Luigi. We'll talk about that. We have a segment dedicated to the future of Paper Mario. So,
right? and we'll make Mario
Siren,
Luigi.
Siren, what's like? How did you get introduced to Paper Mario? What was your whole shtick with it?
Well, the funny thing is, I didn't actually start with Thousand Year Door when I was a kid. It was 64.
Nani?
Nani the fuck?
I believe I was 5 years old. It's fig memory. I remember playing the beginning
No.
of 64. You know,
Around the
Luigi
same age I played Super first time.
getting the letter to go to Princess Peach's castle.
God, I'm young.
Didn't exactly make it that far though, but I can definitely remember my history of the Thousand Year Door. Says I remember seeing the commercials for it. Even bought the magazine for it. Got the game for Christmas, and boy, what a winter break! I think this is right next to Battletoads. Is probably the most played game.
Yes,
You're right.
Battletoads.
Battletoads?
You've mentioned Battletoads a lot, and once again, if the
Gosh.
remake comes out on Game Pass, which I think it will, I'll stream it with you.
Yeah, but anyways, Super Paper Mario. I thought it was gonna be a GameCube game.
Well, it was
I was
originally.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It
was
was.
originally meant to be, and if you
You
look
can
into
tell
the game
by
code,
the aspect ratio.
yeah, if you look into the game code, you'll still see the remains of the pictures for the GameCube button icons in
Yeah.
the game data.
Oh.
Also,
This
that
is-
one ladder pixel that was never released.
Oh, yeah.
Is that Breadward? Was Breadward not related to bread all along?
Breadward was with Squidward.
Remember, bread, 3 wheat, and a crafting table.
Remember
See, Super
kids?
Paper Mario
Old toasters,
always
toast,
annoyed
toast.
me
Honestly,
in some way, because as a 9-year-old, there's on one hand it's a nice story and all, but the other hand, it's a 2D platformer. I want to get hit people.
yeah, that like. The thing
you
is that I
can
never
hit
really
people.
care about the story, so I may not,
too
once
much
I
dialogue.
eventually replay Super Paper Mario, I'm not going to probably not like it as much as other people, reason why people like it, because of, the story, I don't really care, but,
We'll talk
um,
about we'll talk
the-
about the issues we have with the games after we get to our getting done with our history with it.
right,
So
This is sticker
but
stars.
also,
though.
I think I would
I
have
rented it.
replayed those games if I think I would have gotten into those games or more Nintendo oriented games if I didn't get completely obsessed with Minecraft for like 4 years and then 2 years where I didn't play it and now I'm getting back into Minecraft again. That's why you constantly see me playing it on Discord.
so
I mean, Minecraft's a good game.
I mean,
so if that's the case,
I bet there's a Paper Mario mod for
SMT.
Minecraft. I can download that later.
so SMT, what's your history with Paper Mario? I know
See
you're a
if
big
I'm-
Thousand Year Door fan.
Let's see if I remember this right. It was Christmas of 2005. I got like technically five different Mario games at that point.
What are
I
you?
think I was 7 years old around then, and I got like Mario Strikers, Mario Superstar Baseball,
Ooh,
Mario Party 7, Smash Brothers Melee, and Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. So I would usually go back and forth between Mario Party and Mario Baseball. But once I started Thousand Year Door, it just like hooked me on something because like I'm seeing all these different characters Mario's interacting with, and I'm like, oh wait, there's rats and like Mario's friends with the Goomba. I'm like, I'm not used to this. What is this? That they're actually good people now? And then there's these Nazi-looking little midgets. I'm just like, what is going on? That's
It's the
essentially what the
cosmonauts.
That's essentially what the X-Nauts were based
Yeah, they're
off
pretty
of.
much. Yeah.
Aren't
You know,
they like
yeah.
Nazi cosmonauts? Isn't that basically what the X-Nauts were?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they do a little
Nazis
pose.
exist.
Cosmonauts. That's what it is.
Because cosmonauts aren't. That isn't that the Russian word for?
That's
astronaut?
Russian.
Yeah, that's Russian.
Space race. all
Even
that
though they
stuff.
both, go from the same word, like astronaut and cosmonaut, they just so happen to choose different words for them, even though they technically mean the same thing. Because I know astronaut means star sailor. Because not means sailor.
Nerd.
And because I think it's like
Get back on
Astro
track.
is universe and Cosmo is like
Universe.
star. So no,
Yeah.
Cosmonaut is universe,
Nerdy.
Astro is star. So it's star sailor and universe sailor. So I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay,
Probably
nerd.
look that up later. I ran
Alright,
on
So seeing all these different characters and these like really bizarre worlds interact with Mario in ways I haven't seen before just hooked me. And me being young, I'm not the brightest person as I am now. Back when I was 7, so there was some aspects of Thousand Year Door where I got stuck on for like a month or two. Like,
Yeah.
oh my, let me see. I got stuck trying to reach Chapter 3 because there was something with Don Pianta and like accessing his
Oh,
office.
good
I got stuck
lord.
on. That's one thing.
Hilarious
I got
character, by the way.
I think I got stuck for a little bit in Twilight Town. I didn't know you had to go back just to find the parrot and get the letter P. There was also there was also Chapter
Twilight
7,
Town.
with, like finding General White, and because I did not know what arena meant, I did not know the definition of an arena. I did not know you were supposed to go to Glitzville. during that
Oh
set.
no!
So there were
Oh
like
no!
So on my first playthrough, there were a couple instances where I got stuck, but like the game was still super interesting to me, and I didn't even talk to every single person or figure out every single little detail and intricacy Thousand Year Door had. It wasn't until years later, upon replays, where I started to delve deeper and deeper into those elements. But upon that first initial playthrough, where I want to say I spent like a year or a year and a half trying to finish the game, I thoroughly enjoyed it, even for as long as I struggled with it. Because I just thought it was that charming of a game, and it was that much fun. Like, even to this day, I still replay it. Like, my college gaming club, we have like 3 different TVs set up. I use their GameCube. I bring my copy of Thousand Year Door. I figured out how to beat the Pit of 100 Trials in the middle of Chapter 2.
Ah, ah,
I think it was
Oh.
chapter 1.
oh boy!
Yeah, that's my
your
next
ways, old master.
I remember beating Flipside Pit of 100 Trials before Chapter 3 and getting the run button in that game.
Yeah. I'm
That
gonna
made things
need
go a whole lot faster.
I bet if I tried playing TTYD as a kid, I would get stuck at so many places. I know that when I do eventually get through that game, I'm gonna get stuck in several places, but that's what the internet's for, so I shouldn't have that big of a problem.
I said this
Also,
last
I have you
episode.
guys.
Back then, you had game facts and then you had magazines, and none of them worked.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I remember
That's why
Game
I
facts
never.
for me.
That's why whenever I got stuck in games, I just stopped playing them. That's why I never beat games, except games
I
that were super
usually-
straightforward, like Halo and Sonic Generations. And
I
Sonic
usually
Colors.
only played games that Chugga Conroy played, so I always had his playthroughs.
Cheating.
And I cheating if you're
Oh,
having
you guys'
fun.
audio just cut out again.
Oh, I missed. Hey, man.
Ah,
But
Still missed.
Sorry.
yeah,
what about SMT? What about Super Paper Mario? What about that game?
So Thousand Year Door I loved. It wasn't until a couple years later where my family got a Wii, Mario Galaxy, and I went with my mom to Target because I wanted to get Call of Duty on the Wii. But then I was looking through the shelves, and then I see Super Paper Mario, and I had no idea it had a sequel. And the shift in gameplay didn't bother me that much for some reason. But like the fact that you could play as Peach, I think that was the first thing that sold me. I'm like, wait, Peach is a playable
about
character. in
Bambi?
this
My
game.
waifu is playable.
You can play as Peach
Basically.
in
Yeah,
Super
you're actually
Paper
right. I think I
Mario.
had the same
You could play as
impression
Peach,
when it was
Bowser.
Bowser.
I didn't know
That's
this.
what sold me.
I
That
just
was
choose
so
how
cool.
little I know about these games.
playing
Yeah,
as
I didn't-
Bowser.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
didn't
played.
know Mario
Last time I
RPG
played
was
Super.
technically the first to do this. So Super Paper Mario was like the first game I thought, wow, Mario, Peach, and Bowser on the same team. And the writing I thought was really good. There were some tedious parts for sure. Chapter 2, the whole Ruby thing, running on the wheel, hitting the block.
There's-
Chapter
Yeah.
5. Let's get into talking about. Let's get into talking about the what we dislike about these games in some way, because I need to talk about Chapter 5 for a bit. Gap of Crag is the most tedious chapter in probably any Paper Mario game, honestly. For
Which
me,
game was it
at
in?
least.
More tedious than General White.
Yes, much more
That is an interesting debate there.
Wait,
I
which
think
game was
this
this in?
General White was just tedious.
Super
Hold
Paper
on.
Mario. I mean, General White may have been tedious,
Alright.
but it didn't require you to type in please 5 times for you to do a block combination that you had to write down to beat. That was like 50 different block presses that you had to do.
I want to
And
say it was
didn't-
26. It might be less than that, but it was still a lot.
It was
still
it
a
was
lot.
there was so much filler in chapter 5-1. It felt like an episode of One Piece.
Oh no,
Anime?
that's just disrespecting it. One
5
Piece
minutes
is
no.
good.
recapping?
Oh, okay. The recap. Okay, that's a whole other story.
But when it comes to chapter 5, probably the lowest point in Super for me, and I think that could be
Definitely my
said
least
for a
favorite,
lot
for
of
sure.
people. I mean, not even I don't think Mario and Luigi has ever reached that level of tediousness.
No.
Like, not even close. And I'm not saying Mario and Luigi is necessarily a better series, even if it does have consistent quality. Like, you can like what you like, but I have never experienced anything as tedious in a Mario RPG or RPG like as Chapter 5 in Super. Especially after the phenomenal chapters of like Chapter 1 is great, Chapter 3 is phenomenal, and Chapter 4 is good too. Especially going from Mr. L to Gap of Crag.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's just
that's a
oh.
nosedive right there. And I mean,
It's like if you
Super's
took
got-
Super out of the equation
Up
and
and
went from
down.
Thousand Year Door to Sticker Star.
exactly. But when it comes to Super,
Oh,
when it comes to Super,
no.
when it comes to like, let's talk a bit more about more than just Chapter 5 when it comes to the tedious elements of Super, because we'll talk about all these games, because the next topic is actually hot takes. So we'll be able to talk about all the things we probably dislike about the series. But let's talk about Super, because Super probably has some of the rockiest like moments of a Mario RPG. Like, you could call Sticker Star consistently bad if you want. I personally don't agree, but you can call it consistently bad, and I can understand. But Super has some really great moments, but it's also got some really bad ones. But one of the ones for me, Chapter 7, underwear stair, where
underwear.
you're just
Oh,
where
Yeah.
you're
you
just
mean
climbing up that
the
platform.
the over there stare.
Oh yeah,
That is
yeah.
another thing.
I
That is
don't
an
like that.
Yeah, I feel like
I
the
got
over there
lost on
stare
that
might be a
one.
little worse.
Underwear but underwear stare, like, I mean, over there stare's got some really annoying music that gets grating after a while, and it is a bit of a maze. The overwear stare, I mean, under there stare is literally just jumping between two platforms that increase in elevation for 5 minutes, and then getting knocked down by a dark boo that appears out of nowhere, and then having to do it all over again.
It's just a bunch
Oh,
of leap
yeah,
of faith
Dark.
jumps
Yeah.
too.
But those quiz segments are pretty good, and then that
I feel biased here because
That
of those
changed,
quick
huh?
segments. Because like they give you a math question and it's like that's all the facts. Now, what's my name?
oh, it's so good.
They give you some
Oh,
dumb
it's so-
question. It's the
Oh,
funniest
Door
thing.
Guy the 64th. Such a good
Bruh.
one. And then I
That
love
little Earthbound segment.
yes,
well,
that Earthbound Beginnings segment. Earthbound Beginnings wasn't even released in North America at that point, and they referenced that game.
They're just
The screen
screwing
tra-
with us.
And you could
It's
argue that it's,
out of left field though.
yeah, you could
I
argue that
know.
it's a riff on all traditional RPGs. But the thing with that is it has a very similar circular transition to Earthbound Beginnings. The text box is the same. The black background with colored sprites is from Earthbound Beginnings. It's all just Earthbound Beginnings. It's so similar.
And the music too.
Oh my gosh. It's just a remix of
The mini
What
boss
else?
theme, like
The
pixelated.
mini
Yeah,
boss.
but it sounds like something that came out of Earthbound.
Yeah. Speaking of underrated music tracks in Super, Bowser's boss theme that only shows up twice in the whole game.
Yeah,
It's
I
it's a
love
remix.
Ooh,
boss
yeah.
theme.
that's a good one.
It's a remix of both Mario 3 boss battle theme, Bowser boss battle theme, and the Mario World boss battle theme, and it's so good.
I
It
love
reminds me so
Francis'
much
boss
of
theme.
the
I can
of the
hear it,
boss theme for
actually.
Thousand Year Door for Bowser. And actually, that is one thing
Wait,
I'll
which
bring
one?
up.
Which one? No, the second one.
The second one, yeah.
Okay, second one's
Wait, when do you
awesome.
fight? When do you fight Bowser the first time in TTYD?
In Glitzville, he just pops
Glitzville.
in out of nowhere.
Oh,
asks
right.
Mario
Yeah,
for a
I
fight.
just went
I
through
always
it
forget.
actually.
I always forget that.
Yeah, Bowser just
Um,
shows up randomly.
I will
Oh,
say
you
that,
should-
that is one thing that Paper Mario has over Mario and Luigi: individual boss themes for characters. Yoko
Oh, yeah.
Shimomura does a great job, but having
Definitely.
only one boss theme for every character except for the final boss can't, or standouts like Popple, can be kind of disappointing.
That and the bosses are a lot more unique in Paper Mario. At least the first three.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first three. What I was gonna say about Super is that here's like a quick rundown of like chapters. Chapter 1, that was great. Chapter 2, the Ruby section was annoying.
Ugh.
Chapter 3, I really love. The first section
Freedom.
I kind of got lost on.
Freedom,
Yeah.
hope, bombs. It's yours, my friend, as long as you have enough rubies.
Then chapter
Go to
4,
jail.
I kind of really don't like that section a little bit.
Woezone is awesome. I will say that
Yeah,
much.
I love Warzone. I used to hate it, but now I like it. Warzone
It's
is
so
like great.
good.
Oh yeah, Super came before Galaxy, so that was technically the first
Yes.
time Mario went to space.
No, Mario Land 2 came first.
Oh.
Mario Land 2, yeah.
Thousand
Oh, I
Year Door.
wouldn't know that.
And then
He
you get-
also went to space in Thousand Year Door.
Oh my
Oh, yeah,
god,
I
I'm
did.
so stupid. I'm so
okay,
stupid.
one thing I like to bring up
It's not
about
to be offended.
space. One thing I'd like to bring up about space in Paper Mario compared to the main series. For some reason, Mario in the main series does not need anything to breathe in space. Now, Mario Land 2, he did wear a spacesuit. And in Mario Galaxy, you could argue that Luma gives him oxygen, but that wouldn't explain Mario 3D World. Because he's just in space, bro. He's just in space.
What do you
But-
know? Have you heard of suspension of disbelief?
But in Paper Mario, in the first game, he didn't need anything to breathe. But for some reason, in Thousand Year Door, he needed the. Wait, it cut me off. You need the crystal stars to breathe. Apparently, I think Goombella or Cooper mentions that the crystal stars give you oxygen, and then you need this whole side quest to get a fishbowl for a space helmet so that you can enter Chapter 4. Even though Mario can normally breathe in space, I don't think Paper Mario has lungs.
And
So,
like not to mention like half of the Mario games out there have Mario not needing oxygen when going underwater. The 2D Mario games, he don't gotta breathe. Mario
Yeah.
Luigi, he don't gotta breathe.
That's
well,
like giving
Shooting
well,
when-
I think that's
shooting when-
mechanically, it's kind of different. But
True. Still.
people ask in Galaxy why Mario doesn't need to breathe in space and why Mario has to hold his breath underwater. Duh, it's water. Your body's gonna be filled with water if you open your mouth. So you gotta hold your breath. That seems kind of obvious. But it's so weird
Just
because
breathe
they
the
are
water.
separate universes, but I figure the rules should probably be the same. Or for the most part, that is because
You would
anyone's
think
made a
that
paper.
though, because like I don't think it was until usually Mario followed like one giant continuity across all the spin-offs, but it wasn't until Paper Jam where that basically like debunked all that, having
Yeah, and
Mario
then
and Paper Mario as separate entities.
And then you look back at things like Luigi's Mansion, where there's a book called Mario's Story, and you got a bunch of different stuff. And then it's an odd foreshadowing that kind of existed. But I feel like it was always the intent that they were separate, but it was never explicitly stated.
Yeah.
And the Star Spirits being a different name in Mario Party 5, being called the Star Guards, kind of supports
Aw.
it too.
I
That
mean,
and Paper Mario characters don't even show up in the main series that often outside of the Star Spirits.
yeah. I
They're-
knew.
They've been forgotten. That
Which is sad because I want No Mighty Mice to be
Wait, I
in
have
the
a
main series
question.
again.
I have a question. Which came out
Yeah.
first, Paper Jam or Color Splash? I don't remember.
Paper Jam. Paper
Paper
Jam
Jam.
came out in
Paper Jam.
2015. Color Splash came out in 2016.
Yeah. So when I found out that both series were like separated from different worlds, I knew like the Koopalings were bound to have paper forms since they
Yep.
appeared in Paper Jam.
Yeah.
Obviously, but here's the thing: there's no way that they were in Prism Island because Bowser was Paper Jam. So I think the paper versions were probably just didn't show up. I mean, you already had 7 Koopalings. Imagine balancing them and Bowser Jr. That'd
I'm
be
shocked Bowser Jr. didn't show up in Color Splash.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing: Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings have always been separate, except for in the new series. Like, I mean, Bowser Jr.'s journey, which, by the way, the story in Bowser Jr.'s journey is great. I love that story. Besides that, in the new series, the Koopalings and Bowser Jr. always seem to be separate entities. Because remember, when Bowser Jr. was introduced in Sunshine, the Koopalings didn't show up again until Superstar Saga.
And then they didn't show up
They cut
again
out
up
again.
until New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Yeah. And then they were
Yeah.
used again in U, and then they teamed up, and they...
And 2.
Oh, yeah, they showed up in 2, but Bowser Jr. wasn't in 2. It
Bowser
wasn't
Jr.
until...
was like in a weird limbo during the Wii U. He was a secret boss in Paper Jam, but like
Yeah, he was. And a brutal one at that.
You
but
mean
Oh,
the
yeah.
secret boss from
Dry
Dream
Bowser.
Team?
Dream Team. Yeah, Dream Team. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Hey,
He's not as bad as Dry Bowser, though.
real
Oof.
quick, I need to say this. We've reached 45 minutes in, and here's the thing. I want to see if someone comments down below about the it cutting out, because because we need to see if how long people are actually watching these, if they're watching them through all the way. So
Ah.
we'll see by people
It's
if they
Discord
comment that down
chat.
below.
Nothing new.
But, yeah, exactly. But when it comes
So, you guys
to...
continue.
Yeah, but Bowser Jr. is... We're getting off
What
topic,
topic
but...
are we on? Yeah.
We were going over hot takes, but we should probably move on from Super. Overall, Super just had very tedious elements to it. The fact that you have to go to the flop side pit of 100 trials twice to get infinite 3D is really dumb, though the lore behind Shadow is pretty interesting. But yeah, I think Super just suffers from tediousness and is a bit confused about what it wants to be. A lot of its platforming elements and a lot of its gameplay is unrefined. It feels a bit unbalanced. Stuff like you not being able to throw the bomb pixel. I can't remember his name. Boomer.
Boomer.
The fact that you can't
Boomer.
throw Boomer without throw is kind of
Oh,
unintuitive, and it's not very great.
I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
I don't like that.
you probably wouldn't even know that you could throw Boomer. I told you because it's so obtuse. But I suppose now we should probably go to 64 for elements that we
Okay.
probably don't like.
With 64 and me, I honestly find like if I would like to say like what my favorite chapter was from like each game, I kind of like there's like so many options for me for like Thousand Year Door and possibly Super Paper Mario, but like with let's say the original 64, I really don't know like, which like there's not like I would have multiple ones for like Super and Thousand Year Door, but with the only one like I'm not saying the worlds are bad, they're quite interesting, but it's like they're not as memorable as to me like some places in Super and TTYD. I think my favorite chapter, the original, is Shy Guy's toy box.
Yes.
That's what got my love for Shy Guys, and that's why my Shy.
Wow.
Where?
Shy Guy Bandit is like Shy Bandit is like best.
Shy
character.
Bandit is God. Those anti guys.
Good luck beating them.
I beat him in
can't
one
think-
take.
I can't think of anti-guy without thinking of
Strider.
Strider setbacks.
Like, I'm not
What a
saying the
legend.
worlds are bad. They're great. They're really great. But compared to like Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario, it feels a little inferior in my opinion.
I mean,
Yeah.
in Paper Mario 64, you never get your shadow stolen, or you never get your body stolen or shadow. So, and I mean,
You're right.
one thing that stands out about Paper Mario 64 for me was beyond Monstro Town, we really didn't get to see minions of Bowser that had turned good and stuff. We sort of see this in Color Splash with the Shy Guy
Monstro
on the
Town?
train. Monstro Town was a location in Super Mario RPG where retirees of Bowser's Army who wanted to
Oh
be
yeah,
good,
that's right.
unenlisted.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Paper Mario, but I was like, is it Monster?
No,
RPG?
no, I was saying that Monster Town was the first example of minions that we could be sympathetic towards, and then Paper Mario 64 like opens the door way open with an entire Goomba village. It's a small one, but it's a Goomba. But you get like Goombas and you got Koopas and Lakitus and all these different enemies they're essentially just reskins of enemies, but they're people. And you understand that not the entire species is evil. There are actually
do
good
they
people among
know
them.
the millions Mario has killed?
Okay, I just
Well,
thought
I
of
mean,
something.
The millions.
They find Bowser as evil as Mario, so pretty sure
I know,
they're
but
fine with
he's
it.
committed genocide on their species.
They've only been KO'd.
I just thought of something.
Are you
Rules
sure
and
about
money.
that? That just means death.
Pokemon logic.
I just thought of
They're
something.
dead.
I realized I kind
Their
of
corpses
enjoy.
on the ground.
You know how both Chapter 5s and Thousand Year Door and Original 64 like jungle thing levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I actually kind of because I didn't the whole rowing boat thing in Thousand Year in TTYD. I always get PTSD because I feel like I'm gonna like mess it up, but I don't mess it up. You like when you turn into the sailboat and those
Yeah.
waves are like coming at you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I do love Cortez's boss a lot more than Lava Piranhas.
Thank you, amigo.
Though I love Lava Lava Island. Key Hall
Lava
Key.
Lava
I really
Island-
agree with you.
The music
I will
in
admit
that's
Lava Lava
amazing.
Island is better than Chapter 5 and TTYD.
I love
I
how
just-
they brought back the burb from Yoshi's Island. The
Yeah,
burb.
Raven.
Yeah.
Raphael Raven.
Raphael.
He barely shows up at all in any of the series. Like his
Another
moon
forgotten
shows up in
character.
Wooly World, and that's it.
At least he showed up in a recent Yoshi game.
Yosh.
Big Yoshi.
Big Yoshi.
Alright.
But yeah, I agree with you. I do like Long Island more than Key Hall Key. Also, Colorado. I love Colorado. So good.
Yeah, Colorado
Yes.
is good.
Though here's the thing, 64 is kind of a hard game to figure out what I really dislike about it. Because
Yeah.
in a way, it being a bit less ambitious and a bit less outgoing with its ideas than TTYD and Super Paper Mario kind of benefited it, actually. I'd say that TTYD is overall a better game than 64, but 64 has a lot less polarizing and ups and downs in quality than TTYD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then,
there's
of course,
something
everything-
like
Yeah.
there's something like charming about six. Like I do like Thousand Year Door a lot better, but there's something about 64 that just feels like
It's Yoshi's Island
Unique.
syndrome. It's the cute art style. It kills me every time.
yeah, it does.
It's
Yeah,
so
you're right
soft.
about that.
It's
Then
so
like the
soft.
quality is pretty consistent from start to finish.
Yeah, in the N64 era, most games, and you could hardly
Yeah,
avoid
cut
that.
out again.
Only games like Banjo
Oh,
Kazooie.
It's cutting out a
Ah.
bit. Yeah, just
Oy.
give it a second.
But all right, are
yeah,
we
yeah,
free
alright,
to
it
talk?
should be good now. It should be good now.
Most N64 games were really sharp, and very polygonal and stuff. Paper Mario kind of bucked that trend when it decided to make things a lot more soft with its sprite work and to make things a lot more visually appealing. It's very standout, and I really enjoy the look of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so pleasing for
agree.
the eyes.
Granted, it has anti-aliasing all over it, but
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? But when it comes to TTYD, we've already brought up the general point of contention, and we've
Fuck
also brought up how
General White.
slow it is. But I think some of the other puzzles in that game kind of annoyed me. I think Boggly Tree was one section I didn't enjoy that much.
Yeah.
It feels. I mean, I love the tribute to Pikmin. Don't get me wrong. Pikmin getting any references in anything is amazing, but it felt. I don't know. It felt kind of forgettable for me in some ways.
When I go back to visit Boggly
yeah, I
Tree,
think it's the weakest chapter in Thousand Year Door, in my opinion.
I mean, I would say chapter 4, in my opinion, because mainly the backtracking. But like in terms of like story wise, the Boggly Tree is like the weakest for me. Even though
Wasn't up.
even though it's like the X-Naut's biggest,
Yeah,
like their first major appearance.
yeah. That was like the only standout moment was like the timer, like the time running
Yeah,
out.
The
the
timer.
bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how you can get to when the timer's going down, and that's kind of a reference to Final Fantasy VII, I think, with how they did timers. But I love how you can have it so that Crump presses the button at like the last second and it'll still blow up. It's like on the last frame he has his hand on the button, but it blows up and it looks hilarious.
I need
It's
to
like,
try that
you done
again.
goofed, Crump.
I like chapter 2, but I think I can agree it probably is the weakest.
It's
'Cause,
not that
there
I
really
dislike it. It's that I don't
Yeah, it's
like it.
fine.
Yeah, it
It-
just doesn't. It doesn't.
It'll
do
Junior
it.
Fireman is just
Like-
very meh. It's like
Like
Yeah.
even chapter 1 had like the whole hooktail thing. You're fighting a dragon, and this Koopa is trying to avenge his presumably dead father.
Which is really cool. What a mad lad. What an absolute
I
mad
was
lad.
making my friend play Thousand Year Door. He called bullshit when Koopa's father came out of Hooktail's body. He was like, "How did he survive?"
Okay,
It's like,
okay,
what?
I said that too.
Hey,
I
Koopa
was streaming
shells
the
are super
game and I was
resilient.
like, this is some serious BS here.
Koopa shells are super resilient. I think they're.
But
has
it's
to
not the
eat,
shells.
though.
The shell would have just came out. How about the actual inside?
What
The
did he
inside
eat?
is inside. How would he eat? Would he just eat the guts of the monster?
I think. Well, he is kind of a cool adventurer dude, so I wouldn't be surprised.
7
That
That's
was really
years.
fast.
low-key a fairy tale moment right there.
I think it would have been. I think it would have been much
That's
more
some
entertaining
Dragon Ball
if
Super
if
BS
if he
right
just
there.
you would expect they were building up for him to come out and his just skeleton came out and he came out as a skeleton and he just
It's
continued
more
acting like a
asshole
normal
again.
Koopa.
No. What they do is they have him be dead, but they have him be alive.
Yeah,
That would've
he
been
just
funny.
comes into a skeleton Koopa and he's just sitting there just like he talks like
It's like,
that.
took you long enough.
He's just casually just talking normally and it's just a skeleton. That would
He's just
be
a dry
much more
bones.
entertaining. Yeah,
Cooper would be traumatized.
I know, but it'd be funny. Kids would be very confused, but everybody would be like, ha ha.
I don't think they'd be confused. I think they'd be scared. But yeah, Boggly Tree, I think, is. Though I love the art style of Boggly
Yeah,
Tree.
I
how it's-
love
Yeah, you're
the
right.
setting of that.
It shows
It's
the
so
GameCube
stylish.
before
Beautiful
its time.
forest.
Definitely.
It reminds me with the blacks,
Oh,
with
cut
the
out.
black and whites. It reminds me of Persona 5 with like the black and white type thing. Very
The
nice.
music's very nice too.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
Right.
And
so
Flurry,
beautiful.
Flurry's just wacky. How'd
See,
that get
thick?
Go to your room, S&T.
Go to your room.
I am in my room.
He is in his.
Yeah.
Go
Drax,
We're
outside.
all in
Spoiled
our
again.
rooms. We're
Go
all
to
in
the
our room.
corner. Go to the corner. Sit
Well,
and think about your life
We've
choices.
talked about the original 3, so let us talk about our contentions with my favorite. Just kidding, Super, it's my favorite. My second favorite, Paper Mario Sticker Star.
Oh no.
Huh?
This is
I'll
gonna
let
ruffle some
you-
feathers.
I'll let you guys go first.
I have
Fuck
never.
you,
I'm gonna
fuck
do
this
mine
game,
first.
that's all I have to say.
I'm gonna do mine first.
What are
I
we
haven't
talking
played
about?
them. This color looks interesting. Color Splash looks interesting, but other than that, yep, I haven't played them. No opinion on them.
Okay.
So-
Should I go first?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do. I'm very
Please do,
excited
rest
about
in peace.
because you didn't tear into. When we
Yeah,
did the collab, you didn't tear into Sticker Star. I'm excited.
I don't know if I tore into it that much in my own videos. Now that I'm thinking, I did a little bit, but like not as much.
You mostly mentioned Color Splash.
Yeah,
because of your
because it's like,
frustration with-
why are you doing the same thing twice when that first thing nobody liked? Almost
Ah,
nobody
shoot!
liked.
Here we
Almost
go
nobody.
again.
Because like
Kensei Tanabe.
A nice
They-
censoring there.
Kinsuke Tanabe.
they were
Yeah,
trying to recapture the original essence of 64 originally, and it really, really boggles me as to why they decided to change that at the last minute. I mean, yeah, Miyamoto's like, it looks too much like TTYD, but people would still eat that shit up. That didn't stop you from remaking how many new Super Mario Bros. Games
Well,
later
to be
on
fair,
without
Miyamoto
changing
didn't
that
direct
much.
those. Miyamoto didn't have direct control. Didn't have creative and direct control over the new series.
True, but like that shouldn't
Yeah.
heavily influence the direction you're making with that game. Like as far as
I
we
mean-
know, I like Miyamoto being like a higher up in Nintendo was like a heavy sway
He
in
was a
Sticker
heavy
Star's overall
influence.
I
direction.
think Kensuke
But that
was
doesn't
a little too nice
excuse-
to Miyamoto.
Here's the thing: when it comes to Miyamoto and people in his position, we can shift blame to Miyamoto all we want, but everyone's accountable for their own actions. And am I cutting out a bit?
Yeah.
a little
are.
bit you did, yeah.
Sorta.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Everyone
I
is
thought that was just
accountable
my
for-
mic.
Okay, everyone is accountable for their own actions when it comes to the direction of a game. Everyone in the production staff is accountable. Miyamoto had no direct control, he just gave some advice. Use main series Mario characters that haven't used main series Mario characters. And here's the thing, do you know how many characters fall under pre-existing Mario character?
Like hundreds.
Hundreds. And that is my biggest, and I mean biggest, issue with Sticker Star. Because they didn't use what they had over 20 years of Mario history with dozens upon dozens of characters like Boom Boom and Pom Pom that haven't even had one piece of dialogue, and they weren't used at all.
Bowser didn't even have any dialogue in Sticker Star, for crying out
And that
loud.
was
And
mostly
he's like one of the
because he was-
most he's one of the most characteristically standout Mario characters ever.
Also, at first, I thought Wario and Waluigi were gonna show up. Sticker Star.
Imagine.
I saw the Chain Chomp partner in the original.
Yo,
in the
I was
original
about to say that.
screenshots. I want that Chain Chomp partner back. Can we get a Chain Chomp partner?
If we get a proper Paper Mario, I better see a Chain Chomp as a partner.
Bro,
better
I
see a
loved
Shy Guy as a partner right there and then.
That'd be sick.
I don't know. Throw Kirby in any Paper Mario game. 10 out of 10.
dude. That's my biggest problem with Paper Mario Sticker Star. And I believe it or not, I have a lot of problems with Sticker Star. But that's my biggest one, is that Rosalina's never been in an RPG, Daisy's never been in an RPG, Wario hasn't. Like,
Waluigi.
he's not canon.
Donkey
But
Kong.
there are so many different things you can use, and all you used was the cast of the original Super Mario Brothers for characters that can actually have dialogue. I mean, sure, there were like four original characters. There was Kirsty. There were the Koopa and Toad hieroglyphs in that tower, which are actually pretty creative. And then there were poison bloopers. Like, those were the four original characters that were introduced. And
One of them, like, everyone hates.
I love Kirsty. Kirsty's one of my favorite characters in Paper Mario. Don't ask.
She's such a bitch, though.
But that's what's funny about her.
She like blames Mario for everything, and he doesn't even talk, so he just has to take it.
Well, at least he's patient. You could say that much. About
Reminds me of Iris from Black and White, the anime. not the
I
game.
don't know why
Oh,
they
no.
screwed up the black and white
Reminds me
anime.
of
We can
Yukari
talk
from-
about the Pokemon
actually-
anime later. I have a lot of choice words about the anime.
Yukari's a lot better.
If
Not now.
you're
Not
ever gonna do
here.
a podcast on the anime, you got to put me on that one.
I might consider it
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, our next
But-
episode's gonna be on E3 though,
Yeah, and
and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the only one to scream about the Xbox One. But
but yeah. But
Anyways.
the thing I mean, imagine what you could do with Rosalina in an RPG. Imagine what you could do with
Yo.
Lubba in an RPG, because Lubba was hilarious in Mario Galaxy 2, and
I'm sure the potential for Rosalina is like insane.
it's through the roof, and they didn't do anything for 2 games. She
I'm
hasn't even
hoping-
shown up in any of the Mario and Luigi games. doesn't make sense. Egad's been in Mario and Luigi games, Rosalina, and Rosalina is way more popular.
I guess they would have to try and tie some space theme into it, but like I don't think you have to do that every single time.
Well, here's the
Rosalina.
thing, though. Mario and Luigi went to space in Partners in Time, though, I mean, Rosalina didn't exist. And then Color Splash and Sticker Star, nothing took place in space. So none of the Mario RPGs after Galaxy have space themes to them. So Rosalina has not had a proper opportunity, and that sucks.
They were originally gonna have her in Odyssey too as like a
man, that was
guitarist.
Yeah.
I really wish that happened, man. That would have
Playing
been so
one-
sick.
Playing
I
one
really
role,
do hope
but
that so I think like how Odyssey has been like perceived very well like with its like with its interesting characters and that.
yeah.
I hopefully hope that with like now that they like have like because like I felt like Mario games were like more so basic and whatnot, but I do think that potentially hopefully like the next Paper Mario game they could like have more diversity and bring some like characters that appeared in Odyssey into the paper.
Yeah.
Like how much of
Because-
an influence Sunshine had on later entries.
exactly.
Thousand Year Door, Piantas.
Don
had a
Pianta's a
God.
legend. I love Don
Dude,
Pianta.
we could see paper humans.
Bruh!
I just want
That's
to
what I
die.
brought up in one of the comment sections of one of your videos, SMT. Paper New Donkers. Absolute
Yo.
legend. Absolutely legendary.
That'd be so cool.
But the thing, okay, and this brings up another point I want to make about the idea of introducing original characters to Paper Mario above using pre-existing ones that haven't had development. Because an issue I had with Super Story was that it was a fantastic story, but it wasn't really a Mario story. And that's kind of the title of the game. And if you can't make a story about Mario and like the focus can't be on him and his world, if you have to go to a different dimension to make Mario interesting, as opposed to using characters that haven't been used and making them interesting, then at that point it's not a Mario story, it's an original story with Mario shoehorned in.
I mean,
and
that
in
was
a
the
lot
whole
of-
point of Super, though.
Paper Mario
Yeah.
Infinity War?
But
Wait, Mario visiting different world.
yeah.
God, this is Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my god, it is! It actually is! Oh no! Oh no!
He was
Put my
gathering all the
image in my
hearts.
head and I can't get it out.
Oh my God.
The
Kingdom
Purity
Hearts.
Heart, Kingdom Hearts. Oh no!
Chaos Heart.
I
Help!
summoned-
Help! I can't unsee it.
Quick, next subject.
Quick! Before we get into the Kingdom Hearts timeline. Oh hey!
Okay,
yeah,
I have to
that-
say this. I was browsing Reddit just now, and it says how it feels like when your friends are talking about something that that you don't know,
Oh my
and I
gosh.
just felt like it was so accurate for what's happening right now.
Gosh. But yeah, Sticker Star not using original character Sticker Star not using original characters, not an issue in my opinion. Sticker Star underutilizing the hundreds of characters that have existed before that Miyamoto specifically said that they should use. No, thank you. It's bad. I hate it. And they did it again in Color Splash, putting a pirate hat on a toad doesn't count.
I'll give them this. They at least expanded the amount of like variants and enemies in Color Splash. Like the Dino enemies from Super Mario World. Who the hell was
Dino
ever expecting
Rhinos.
those guys to come back?
Dino Rhinos are sick.
The different variations of the Hammer Bros, Ice, Fire.
Oh, yeah,
Boomerang.
Oh, Juggler
Hammer
Bros,
Bros
the
Circus.
Juggler Bros.
Yeah, Juggler Bros. Can't think of anything else.
Them having
Also-
their own original theme is awesome.
Plus, that's also one of the reasons why I like Paper Jam. Because what Sticker Star should have been, it used a lot of pre-established Mario characters. Only this time, it gave them actually funny writing, and they were pretty diverse. Like Bruisers from the new Super Mario Bros. Games were enemies. Nabbit was thrown in there. Charge and Chucks was an entire boss fight in and of its own.
Dude, that was
King Boo.
such a creative boss fight.
Oh,
I love
yeah,
the Charge and
Charge and
Chuck
Chuck's
fight.
boss fight.
Toadette was genuinely cute in that game. King
Oh,
Boo, King
Toadette's
the
so
Bomb. The Koopalings were very well written. Like
Even
that's
in Color
exactly.
Splash, the Koopalings were well written.
I didn't like how Morton was written though. That just seems it seems really basic to make him seem like as stupid as a
Morton was
caveman.
mean.
Yeah, but in Color Splash, I mean, not in Color Splash. Yeah. In Bowser Jr.'s Journey, he only speaks dumb, but he's actually smart. So I think I think he just has trouble speaking his mind.
It's like those weird glimmers of
Intelligence.
wisdom and intelligence,
like-
like Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie, or Patrick from SpongeBob, basically.
Or Homer
right?
Simpson.
Yeah.
I like buttered toast.
Dude, I love it. But yeah, the thing with Paper Jam is, even though I like the direction they went with, I still think they could have used more. I still think they could have used more characters.
Oh yeah,
And-
and it being a crossover between Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario, there was a lot that.
Yeah, there was a lot of
was
potential to
disappointed.
use Paper Mario characters, but unfortunately, Intelligent Systems had the majority of creative control on the Paper Mario side of things, so they probably restricted the usage of those characters.
And it was all sticker star characters too.
I
And
was
here's the-
disappointed. Oh, go ahead.
But the thing is, Alpha Dream has never, and I mean never, shied away from using original characters in their games. That's never been a thing. Even after Sticker Star, Dream Team had plenty of original characters and ideas. It even used the Beanish and the Block People, and
Yeah.
it was really cool to see that entire race of several different races and ideas of original characters. But I have a feeling that Paper Jam could have been a lot more if Alpha Dream was in control and given more access to Paper Mario characters.
If Alpha Dream was in more control.
Yeah, if Alpha Dream was in more control, they could have
Okay.
done so much more. And the
Again,
thing
who's
is,
responsible for it though? Who's telling people not to put much original characters in?
Kensuke Tanabe.
Because he thought me.
Where have I
'cause he
heard that
thought
name
Miyamoto
before?
Is like the all-seeing eye as how Mario games should operate in every single genre. So
Yeah.
Because Nintendo user base is 7 to 10-year-olds.
so bullshit, man. Have you seen how many people bought a Switch?
Approximately a lot.
Approximately a lot. That is the
What
funniest.
kind of people bought a Switch? I should
Because
say.
enough
Yeah, the
Switches
kind
to
of
where I
people.
can see people playing them at school.
I just wish that Alpha Dream was able to use the Mario characters in their writing style as much as they wanted, because they totally would have if they could have. I mean, it's a story about Paper Mario traveling to another dimension. That's literally the plot of Super. Come on.
I was sad. I know Fawful like pretty much died at the end of Bowser.
Yeah, he's dead. He's totally
Yeah.
dead.
But I thought that I thought Midbus would probably show up in possibly Paper Jam and.
Midbus also died.
What?
His
Wait.
Oh
really?
yeah, that's right. He
his
did.
death is on screen. He is frozen solid.
Yeah, he
and
froze
killed.
up. My bad. I forgot about.
No, he's
The
just dead.
Shrew Brace froze up too.
Yeah,
so-
the shrew brace. Yeah, but that's cryogenic freezing. Midbus was frozen from the inside out.
True.
So, and
Bowser
he's never
committed
brought up
murder.
again, even though
I
he's
mean-
in the castle. He's totally dead, man.
Though to be
and
fair,
I hate-
Bowser presumably died like how God knows how many times.
Well, to
falling
be
into the
fair-
sun, falling
To
in
be
lava.
fair, Dry Bowser is a relative of Bowser, and evidently the Koopa Kingdom's line of family tearing their flesh off doesn't mean that they're dead.
Wait,
thought Dry
didn't
Bowser was supposed to be Bowser.
technically-
Nope.
Didn't
Dry Bowser.
technically
Dry
die?
Bowser is both Bowser as a corpse and a different entity, according to Mario Party Island Tour and Mario Rio and Mario and Sonic Rio and Paper
What?
Jam. Because yeah, it's weird. It's so weird that they're two different characters, but they are. And he shows up in Mario Tennis Aces as a character, and Mario Kart Wii, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I mean, those are
So-
just like different skins. We have like 5 different Marios in Mario Kart
It's
8.
completely fine. I mean, I don't think they classify as. I think they don't classify as separate characters just because of those games.
No, it's explicitly stated in Mario Party Island. It's explicitly stated that he's
Wait,
a relative.
hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Interesting.
Didn't Bowser
It's
select-
weird. I know it is so weird, but it's an actual
Hasn't he
thing.
turned it into?
Yes.
In New
uh,
Super Mario Bros.
Dry
Yeah.
Bowser's debut was in New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, but then it was retconned twice. Yeah, it's weird.
This
But
This
enough
is why
about Dry
following
Bowser.
the Mario anything
Lore,
related to
the Mario
lore,
mythos.
Yes, is not a good idea because they were like
Oh.
they designed it in a way to where it's not supposed to exist, but people try to find a way to make it exist. And
Well, to be
it's not done.
fair, in fairness, Mario versus Mario, Donkey Kong, the Donkey Kong arcade game leads immediately. there's an origin for Mario and Yoshi. So there's a loose timeline, but there's a lot of creative liberty, and it all exists in the same universe somehow, except for Paper Mario, of course. But it's weird. It's weird. I don't get it.
I'm currently
It's
trying
weird.
to hook up my GameCube while we're talking here.
But I get.
What's the next
But
topic?
gameplay wise, we haven't even talked about the gameplay of Sticker Star because of
my
how
God.
many conventions we have with the story.
It's so redundant. Like, why did you damage it that hard?
I find the game, honestly, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I find the gameplay and turn-based combat to play in and of itself. I get into battles intentionally because I find the gameplay fun, so I don't really think about it.
I mean,
Intelligent
no
Systems'
par- no
idea is
partners.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It isn't broke to smash it 10 times with a hammer.
Yeah, no partners is one thing, but to
Isn't
have
that a
like a
Sonic thing as
finite
well?
source of attacks as like it's technically a card based. I know it's stickers, but like it's technically a card based system going off of other games, right?
Yeah,
So like, why would you scrap EXP if you're gonna have that there? Like, wouldn't that invoke more strategy if you're gonna have experience involved to wanting to level up? Because you could just find heart drops around each individual world. There's like no
Like,
point to going into
absolutely nothing.
battles. When you could
One
find
of the-
stickers in the overworld, you could find coins in the overworld, you could just peel them off trees and walls and stuff, or you could buy them.
one of
Like,
the
you're gonna want to save them for the boss battles, and that's it.
yeah, one of the ideas I had when it came to a Sticker Star type game is what you'd have is you'd basically have the inventory system of Sticker Star, but then you'd have the badge system type thing where you just have it so that you level up so that you have more slots, or you make it so that you have the badges be what you use as attacks all the time instead of just having standard attacks. So what I'm you level up, you get extra badge points, and then you just have that be your move pool instead of upgrading your HP and your stuff in the it's hard to explain. I'll have to come up with a video for it sometime. But
That's
there are
another
so
thing.
many better ways to do this system in Sticker Star. Just because I enjoy it doesn't mean it couldn't be better, and just because I like it more than T2ID doesn't mean that T2ID didn't do its system better. I will concede T2ID and 64 are much better games in execution than Sticker Star. The only reason I like Sticker Star more than them is because one, it's a quicker game than both of them, and two, because the ideas used there are used in a way that is acceptable for me. And because I find it acceptable, I'm able to look past it and I'm able to have fun with it. But that doesn't mean I don't see the problems. And there are many problems, and I'm not going to deny that.
There's one thing I could appreciate from Sticker Star, though. You don't gotta go to every single level in the game. It's a great base map,
Woo!
sure, but you could just
Yeah.
go through the whole thing
Easy
however
travel,
you
there's
want.
a map.
One thing I'll
Yeah.
say about Sticker Star, which is also a problem in Color Splash, is which I can also trace back to Pokemon, but let's stick with Paper Mario. Is the like the thing like they
Thing
feel like they just
requirements?
yeah they just feel like
HMs, basically.
yeah, and also like they're like overpowered. Like I'm gonna be honest, I was really kind of like the boss fights in like Sticker Star. I really did not care about, except for the only like memorable one that I had somewhat fun with was Gooper Blooper.
Yeah,
Ooh.
music's so good in that.
Yeah, it was kind of creative. I was like, damn. I was like, whoa, this is actually fire.
One of the things I think Sticker Star does actually I think overall
Wait.
Sticker Star does its gameplay better than Color Splashes because one, the menu system is better, and two, thing stickers are not required unlike thing
Yeah.
cards. Thing
Yeah.
cards are required to be bosses in
Yes.
Color Splash. And that sucks.
You know, I could kind of see why people prefer Sticker Star's battle over Color Splashes, primarily because of that thing issue.
Okay. Oh, I
Yeah.
just
There's
thought
also the
about
fact
it.
that it takes forever just to attack someone.
Yeah,
And it takes forever to turn a thing into a card. In Sticker Star, you just throw it up, it goes down, it takes about 5. you can't skip the animation for turning a thing into a thing card. It's at least a 10-second animation, and it's so tedious when you got multiple things and you want to turn them into thing cards, but you can't because you just have to keep on pressing that button and then waiting for the animation. I know I'm ranting and yelling. It's annoying though. I hate it.
Medley
Listen,
padding
I
at its
honestly
finest.
didn't have a problem.
It's Rockstar Games level padding.
I honestly didn't have a problem with like shuffling through the cards personally, but I can see where you're coming from. And
Yeah.
at first I just realized, oh hey, in Sticker Star, you can technically, I think you can technically beat a boss without a thing card.
No,
but
you
it'd be
can.
like,
You totally can.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can, but it'll be hard to.
It's
which
harder.
which I might try to do.
It turns into a bit of a with Sticker Star and Color Splash. Unlike Color Splash, Sticker Star is a bit of a puzzle game when it comes to how the cards you use against bosses. Because with Tower Power Pokey, yeah, it's shaped like a ball, and if you hit it out, and if you hit the segments off of a Pokey, then traditionally they won't come back. So if you hit the segment like if you hit the segment with the baseball thing, the baseball bat thing, then you'll just get rid of all of its segments, and the boss will become a lot easier. With the Goomba, with Goomboss or the Mega Sparkle Goomba, that is, whenever it turns into several different segments, you cut them apart with the scissors. That makes sense. With Gooper Blooper having the sponge, that totally makes sense. And then just using fire things to beat the snow guy. I mean, that's easy. Petey Piranha's a bit obtuse though, so
That
Oh
was a
yeah,
really
can I
weird boss
mention
fight too.
Kamek's boss fight in Sticker Star?
Oh,
Kamek turning all your things into sandals is
that's so evil.
it's so,
so evil,
evil
but
and I
funny.
love it. Kamek is such a snarky jerk, and I love him for that. He's one of my favorite characters in the Mario series because of Paper Jam and Sticker Star and Color Splash. He's that funny.
More I'm looking back on it, Color Splash really was so freaking slow. Oh my
Uh,
god. Level to
I know.
level, battles, getting things, everything was just so stupidly slow.
It was like when TTYD slowed things down for padding as well, and it's not as bad in TTYD either.
And there
It's
are ways
just-
to get around it too in TTYD.
And there are ways, yeah, you just can't get around it in Color Splash, and it's bad because of that.
Honestly,
Though I will give them this. At least they have the decency to give you a hint toad that hints about what mandatory things you need. Sticker Star didn't have that, so it sort of balances out, but that doesn't mean it's not bad game design and that I don't have to hate it. Though Mario
the worlds didn't really bother me in Color Splash,
the
but
Color Splash definitely had more variety in worlds.
yeah, I think
The
that's
Metal
what
Gear
distracted
Solid
me.
world so
I think that's what distracted me from like how long it was. I was like looking around like, whoa, this is pretty cool. Like, but if I go back to play it, I'm probably gonna be like, oh,
I mean, Color Splash and Locations had a lot of creative ideas. You had a Train Works, you had
Dude.
Plum Park, that was a good thing. Haunted Mansion. You had oh boy, there's just so many. You had Moss Rock Circus, and you had a pirate island that doubled as a place where you go to parallel universes. Never thought to think of that combination, but man, does it work.
yo, can we talk about how you can beat meat in Color Splash?
Bruh.
That's
I'd
easily
rather
the most
we-
random part of
moment.
that game.
I'd
It
rather-
has a charm to it, I can't deny it.
Yeah. Living meat's kind of weird, but it's
Yeah.
such a
And then you beat it.
Color Splash, like there's so many bizarre moments that kind of fit in with the Paper Mario mold more than Sticker Star did, and I think that benefits it aesthetically. But it's a Banjo Kazooie versus Banjo Tooie case, where Banjo Kazooie is a better game because it focuses on the gameplay and is more condensed. But Banjo Tooie has its own appeal when it comes to the characters and how rich the world is. I suppose it depends on your aesthetic, but if you're looking at a game as a game, then I think Sticker Star kind of succeeds more in that case. And that's such a weird thing to say because initially I actually like Color Splash. But Color
I
Splash,
can't argue that.
Color Splash has turned out to be my least favorite along with TTYD just because of the pacing.
Hmm.
But I think we've talked a lot about Paper Mario. So I think these are going to be a bit shorter segments. What's next for Paper Mario, do you guys figure?
I don't know. That's the
The
problem.
world
Because
may never
Kensuke
know.
stated in interviews that try new things. Don't know
It's not
exactly
going to
that
be Sticker
means.
Star. According to him, it's not going to be a Sticker Star 3, essentially. So what I've been wondering the most is, does Paper Mario need to be a turn-based RPG to succeed? Because with Mario and Luigi undoubtedly coming to Switch with Alpha Dream's confidential project being confirmed, I'm wondering if you really need Paper Mario to be a turn-based RPG on the same system, or if it could be something else, be just as creative, have a story that can appeal to fans, but not necessarily have the same gameplay. Basically, a Super Paper Mario type case. What do you
Wait a
guys
minute.
think? If you guys had to guess about a non-turn-based RPG type Paper Mario, what do you think would come of it?
Says, well, Ty, I mean, you discussed this is many times, but Paper Mario, I think, could work if they did Super Paper Mario Thousand Year Door hybrid. Have the 3D space, but you're able to attack in real time and get experience points. Secret
Right.
Armada type of gameplay.
I have brought this up before, actually.
Isn't the Final Fantasy VII remake doing something similar too?
It's rebooting
Yeah.
its gameplay to be. I think it's more
Like
action
match
RPG
Final
than turn-based
Fantasy
RPG.
15.
That's
I
probably why
believe.
I'm gonna even buy that remake.
But
It's not turn-based.
Not
I
for
think
HD
having it
Tifa.
be like it'd be
Sorry.
like Paper Mario Land, like the fan game Paper Mario Land, but with RPG elements.
Oh, I remember that. Oh yeah, there was a gopher power up in that.
Yeah, it was. It was so creative. That game is so creative. I played through it. It's so good. But when I think of Paper Mario nowadays, I think that turn-based RPG isn't necessarily the direction they need to go in. Because I know gameplay is important, but I think Paper Mario going in a creative direction while keeping the charm that it had would be worthwhile. And
I'm
I'm
gonna say
thinking,
something that might
huh?
piss some people. I'm gonna say something that might piss some.
Oh,
But
I'm ready.
I could definitely see this being really scummy. Make Paper Mario. They make Paper Mario into a gotcha game. Just think about that.
Oh
That'll be awful. That'll
no!
be awful.
Oh no! Keep going though.
Keep going though. You want any excuse to see your favorite character.
No, he probably has more to say. I want to hear what he has to
Yeah.
say.
Okay,
Uh,
Go.
so I just thought about it in my head because while you were talking, I was listening, but I was also playing a gotcha game, and then it immediately just went to my head how some people like to cash in like on some people like to cash in on nostalgia, and if like Paper Mario's not working as like console like due to like the reception of the last two games, they could just throw it like they could still make a main series like on a gotcha game. And there's like a variety of so many characters that they can use from like the original 64 all the way to Color Splash that they
I
could
feel like
use.
just making a Mario gotcha game in general that includes Paper Mario characters would work as well. Imagine the hundreds of characters.
Vivian's not selling out.
That is true.
I hope
But I
they don't
just
go
thought of
down
that.
that route.
Yeah, I was thinking that Paper Mario could possibly be a puzzle game. Like, think about it. Think
Mm,
about the potential of a flat character in a 3D space solving puzzles and maybe going through a story along the way with creative dialogue and new characters. And having those new characters be used in puzzles. So basically all the overworld elements of the four Paper Mario games that have you in a 3D space. But you just make that the entire focus, and then you have a bunch of characters alongside you, original characters, and a story that basically expands upon the ideas that were brought in the other Paper Mario games and doing a bunch of new stuff.
So would it basically be something like more intricate and narratively interesting, like
It would
Dr.
be-
Mario 64, basically?
Yes, it would. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Actually, it'd be something like Dr. Mario 64, but it'd be a more complex narrative. Maybe it wouldn't be something as heavy as Super I don't think that'd be the appropriate place for a puzzle game to go, especially a Mario puzzle game. But I think it'd be worth exploring at least because there were a lot of creative puzzles in all of the Paper Mario games, like a lot of creative overworld puzzles. So I wouldn't really complain if it went down that route as long as it kept the creativity that the first three and even Color Splash brought to the table and maybe expanded upon some original characters that Sticker Star didn't capitalize on. But if Paper Mario were to be a turn-based game, what would you guys primarily want to see in terms of maybe mechanics or maybe characters you'd like to see in a sort of turn-based Mario RPG? Sort of ideas.
Add a Shy Guy. There we go.
Hey,
Add
Make
that
it
chain
not
chomp. They
turn-based.
cut.
True.
Yeah, get the chain shot there.
get the chain chomp in, baby. You can.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think there's still.
Real quick, we're about an hour and a half. That's how long we've been recording for. So
Oh, cool.
I suggest we start wrapping up.
We'll
soon.
end it up.
Like,
Come on. Oh, come on. We can go for as long as we want.
I know,
Don't,
but just
don't worry about it.
So I don't want to have to.
Oh my.
I want to make sure.
Don't
the
worry- don't worry.
recording Software.
Yeah, don't worry
I don't have
about
to
it.
spend 3 hours exporting
Don't
it again.
worry, nerdy.
Don't
Let it-
worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
Everything's
So-
fine.
Everything's gonna be fine. But yeah, I think when it comes to things I want the stylish system to come back. The stylish
Yeah.
system was awesome.
Yes.
I want upgradable partners if that's the case. Though actually, no. I want partners that you can level up. I want
That
that.
sounds good.
That could be a good
That's
step
the
forward.
negative I had with
Interesting.
the first
Could
two Paper
you-
Marios.
Okay,
That
could
didn't upgrade them.
could you equip badges to partners in Paper Mario T2ID?
Yeah, there were certain badges
Yeah,
that
well,
would
there were
help
certain-
certain
There's
partners.
the shine sprites. The shine sprites, you collect 3 of them and you upgrade them by a few. I think they get a new move.
You
So,
when you
yeah,
talk to
it-
Merlin.
Though.
So
Talk to Merlin.
But there were certain badges with like the title underlined P, like Mega Rush P, Close Call P, the P
so
standing
passive
for
elements that you'd equip to Mario but be on your partners.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if you can't have your partners level up, then implement the system from Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story, and Dream Team, where you have badge synergy. Like you have a bunch of different badges, and then each partner has badge synergy with Mario, and depending on the badges and badge combos, you're able to make something more intricate and interesting. And some badges would be only able to be equipable by some partners. So all partners would get use because of badge synergy. Like that
know what?
that would be an interesting idea in my personal opinion.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see like let's say character they have like a certain special attack for like characters where both Mario and the character do something together.
So
like,
basically
the same
bros attacks.
Yeah, bro stacks. Similar to that.
I wouldn't mind that. I would not mind that at all.
That's
Honestly,
one thing they never did.
Mario and Luigi, both Mario RPGs, coexisting with one another, but borrowing elements of one another and putting their own spin on them, that'd be pretty cool. And I think that justify them being on the same. They were able to work together, have similar elements, but able to put their own spin and being able to make something unique out of a previous concept that maybe wouldn't work in Mario and Luigi.
I think because oops, sorry.
Oh no, sorry.
I
I'll let
think
you talk.
I think because Sticker Star and Color Splash are so incredibly different from 64 and T2ID, and even Super being different from the first two, and how badly those were received, I think they should just like take a safer approach and go back to basics. Like the bare
Yeah.
minimum of my expectations is for what I want them to do is just readopt Thousand Year Door's old gameplay style with the stage battle system,
Bring back
stylish
the
commands, the
twirl.
badges, partners, like the whole shebang.
I wouldn't mind, as much as I riff on TTYD, I would love to see another TTYD-esque game, as long as they sped the game up a bit. Because I think that's one of the problems they have when making something more robust, is that they get this idea that they need it to be slower. It's not
Plus-
necessarily the case.
Plus, having original characters, I'd love to see the next Paper Mario adopt some of the new character and PC designs from Odyssey, like what Thousand Year Door did with Sunshine.
Yeah.
with the Piantas.
Though I have a feeling that Mario and Luigi switch, but I wouldn't mind having paper versions. Don't get me wrong. I want paper versions of those characters.
I want
Paper
Paul.
Chivarians. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
More
But-
toads.
But I think they
Yeah.
could. But if they had readopt Thousand Year Doors gameplay mechanics and whatnot, I think there's room for improvement for like giving Mario more moves, more types of badges, and like expanding all the different options you can beyond what we
Mario's
have in
only-
Thousand Year Door.
I mean, in both Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario, outside of Super Saga, Mario's only ever used his jump and his hammer. Add that back in Donkey.
Oh, I mean, like adding like extra elements onto those to make them
Right.
like a little bit more like Sticker Star and Color Splash did do some of this a little bit, but like I don't think they really went that far because like
They
there was
didn't
different
go-
types of like line jump and like oh god, what was it? The drill thing maybe, but the line jump was literally the multi bounce.
Yeah. Then they got the spring jump, which is just a multi attack that's does less damage. They had that one blue hammer that hits one opponent for a lot of damage and knocks them around the screen, which is pretty funny.
The slap
visually.
hammer, I think it's called.
Slap hammer, I think. Yeah, exactly. Infinibounce, which is
Power
just,
bounce.
which is just rhythm heaven without the rhythm, or without the heaven. That is, it does have rhythm.
Without that.
But a TTYD, well, I guess it would be a 64-3, but a TTYD 2 with that's a little faster. I wouldn't mind it being slower than 64, but faster than TTYD and Color Splash. And that one thing I want above all else that Mario RPGs start using main series and pre-existing characters in new and interesting ways and actually have dialogue for them. Because charging chunks were cool to see in Paper Jam, but there were no dialogue for them. So we still don't know how they talk at all. So, I just want more character in these characters, and I want them to more than just appear on screen. I want them to actually talk. And I think that's something that Color Splash got right. Because
Imagine if
in the
we had
middle
some,
of
like-
battle, they'd actually talk. And it was funny.
Oh yeah.
I remember the Cooper in Bowser's Castle in Color Splash. He said, "Yo, what's up, fam?" And I was like, "Huh?
Huh?
Did you just
Yeah.
say fam?"
That's the thing with Color Splash's writing. It relies heavily on me.
Estimate.
Which-
It doesn't rely heavily. There's tinges.
It feels very memeish.
That's probably
Like
why
with
it's
how
the
much
only
like they go off
writing
the
and
whole
dialogue.
In 3 years.
they joke about the whole theme of like how everything's made of paper. They barely did that, if at all, in the first 3 games, and now it's just such a huge basis for the comedy in Sticker Star and Color Splash.
Well,
Mainly
I mean,
Color
And
Splash.
then they reference
here's the thing:
Luigi's
the
death
visual
bit.
humor is great. Like when it comes to the paper, and stuff, the visual humor is great.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
how they roll up an entire cardboard road and you have to run away from it. like-
that's creative. Excuse me.
Like there are so many different ways that I felt very British to me for some reason. It both felt very modern and very British for some reason. It gave me those vibes. But I do agree that they could tone down a bit of the self-awareness. I better
Yeah,
because
they could.
I think they should just go back to the storybook approach and not just make all these
Please.
damn puns.
Make it look like a pop-up book again.
That was the purpose of Paper Mario. It wasn't even called Paper Mario in Japan. It was Mario's story.
yeah, but it's Paper Mario now, so
This is
I
a
mean,
Gensei, and the intelligence systems just don't know what it
notification
is
on your phone
anymore.
would be like,
Oops, my bad.
I think it's just kind of fun playing around with the paper elements of a world made of paper because
One
it
thing-
adds to a lot of the creativity. And again, visual works really well with.
One thing I wish they bring back if they made a new Paper Mario game would be remember the transformation like in TTYD? But
Yeah.
they like make them a lot like more aesthetically like pleasing. Like
Oh, like the airplane, the paper boat, the
yeah, I
tube
just
thing.
thought of like what if they had like a paper
what?
rough Mario in the next Paper Mario game, like they
What I'm
did with
thinking,
Paper Jam.
yeah, what I'm thinking is
Yeah.
I want Paper Mario to Sky Pop from Mario Land. That'd be cool.
That's why I personally
Bad
think there's
idea.
still potential with like expanding those ideas. Because like you said, Paper Jam expanded like some of those paper transformations, and they had some like new ideas that Thousand Year Door didn't. Like I think there's still room for them to expand. Like what if Paper Mario could like transform into like God knows what else he could, because like he's a piece of paper and like there's origami. He could transform into various different
gosh.
sizes and shapes.
A
to suit
stealth
different,
section
like,
where
puzzle-solving elements.
a stealth section where you have to constantly transform to an object in the environment.
Yeah, that sounds just about right.
It's like Prop Hunt, except it's in Mario.
Exactly. But
I thought you just said it was in Mario, like the town in JoJo Part 4.
oh no.
What?
No,
I'm
I
like,
think
wait,
it's. I
what?
don't think it's pronounced
Is
like
that a
that.
JoJo's reference?
Is that a motherfucking
No, not
JoJo's
here,
reference?
Not here. No. Oh.
But
Reference.
okay, so I think we've talked a bit about what we want from the future of Paper Mario, but I wanted to add a bit of an extra segment because Paper Mario is a lot more interesting to talk about because of the recent controversies and overall ups and downs than Mario and Luigi. But I wanted to dedicate an extra segment at the end here to Mario and Luigi so that we could talk about the other side of the RPG spectrum because it is a fun series and it is worth bringing up, but I figure it wouldn't be as discussion heavy as Paper Mario. So I figured we could just slip it in here at the end and talk a bit about Mario and Luigi. So personally,
Sorry.
Bowser's Inside Story is my favorite. I love the DX version more than the original. DX version is my favorite Mario and Luigi period. The second would be, in terms of gameplay, probably Not Color Splash. Paper Jam. Jeez,
God.
we talked so much about Paper Mario. I'm confusing everyone.
Mario
But-
and Luigi Color Splash. Oh god.
Mario and Luigi Color Splash. Oh, boy.
God.
That's a spubby
It's the greatest crossover since Infinity. But I love Paper Jam's gameplay, and I love how it streamlined a lot of stuff from the Mario and Luigi series and made it more accessible while also not talking down to veterans. The action guide is an amazing addition that is probably going to be in every subsequent entry if the remakes are any suggestions. So I'm just happy that they were able to do that. And Partners in Time is underrated. You guys should play it, please play Partners in Time.
I will
It's
never
good.
finish that game.
No remake for
good.
that game.
It's so stupid.
Partners in
Talk
Time
about
is such a
bullshit. That's how Partners in Time never got a remake.
Yoko Shimomura didn't even remix the boss theme or standard battle theme for Partners in Time for the Shroot battle in
Bowser's Inside Story.
Bowser's
DS.
Inside Story, despite the fact that the Dark Star got its own original copy, which is awesome, by the way.
I heard about that, but I haven't heard the song.
Oh,
Yoko
well,
Shimomura is a goddess.
She
Dude.
really is.
she's been around since Mario RP.
Yeah, I know this. That's her.
She's been
around
listening-
That's
since the beginning.
soundtrack.
If you listen to a final boss, the final boss of Paper Jam,
Oh,
like
legendary.
the first phase when you fight two Bowsers, it literally sounds like one of the bosses from Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. 'Cause
Dude.
They're just like, this is for Mario game.
One for All and All for One are the battle themes that are in the Musketeers world in Dream Drop Distance, and they literally sound like Mario and Luigi battle.
Exactly.
They literally sound like Mario. But what do you guys think of Mario and Luigi like overall? I know it's
I got
Oh,
a semi-hot
yes.
take when it comes to that. Mainly the fan base for Mario and Luigi. Like, there are
Oh yeah,
fans
we
who
forgot
think-
to talk about fan bases, but I think we've been going on for too long, so we'll forget about talking
You know
about fan
what's
bases
funny?
that much.
What I
I
didn't-
could squeeze in Paper Mario fans for like 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But what were you
talked-
gonna? You were gonna
I
say, Nerdy?
remember in school I did a essay about video game fandoms, and I mentioned Paper Mario.
Nice.
I
Dude,
had
my
a
whole
Paper
entire
Mario
class.
essay I wrote for college. I got an
One
A.
thing
God.
I will say about the Paper Mario fan base, they are
gonna
so they are not very good at accepting that other people have opinions. I mean, I'm the guy who likes Sticker Star. I know this stuff firsthand.
I mean, welcome
So-
to the club. This is like Nintendo you're talking about.
I know,
I'm
but-
pretty sure Zelda fans go through the same thing. There was a
Yeah.
whole argument with the
The
whole
other
no,
fandoms
Free
have their
Awakening
locales in
design.
them.
But it's an especially difficult case with Sticker Star because it's not I mean, I know the game isn't great, and I know that in some aspects it's objectively bad, but I mean, I like it, and I don't think it's very nice that people, they like to trash on me because I like something because it's different and
Can
because
I?
it's just hard. And I end up lashing out at Paper Mario fans a lot because of previous experience, and I think it's kind of difficult.
I think Paper Mario fans are just frustrated.
Yeah,
It's
I
And they
don't.
take it out
I
on
don't
other.
blame him honestly.
it's
I
been
don't
over
blame them
like
either.
16 years,
I
14
don't
years
blame them. I don't blame them either, but that doesn't mean I have to like them.
since like the last true Paper Mario game, not even counting Super. So that game
Yeah.
was hated on even back then.
Yeah.
Me with Mario and Luigi, I would say my favorite is Bowser's Story. Then I think possibly I haven't played any of the remakes because I'm short
Me
on
neither.
money wise. I've been playing other RPGs in my spare time.
I
Oh,
will
I'm thinking
say-
of like blind let's playing them.
I
I
will
don't know
say
when.
they are worth playing, especially the Bowser's Inside Story remake.
But
Excuse me.
what I was saying was I would probably then put maybe Superstar Saga after Bowser's Story. Just to put Paper Jam, then I think Dream Team, and then I'm not so far time. I'm really not.
What? You don't like Partners in Time? Oh,
It's so good.
I've never played it.
It has its
It feels so
problems.
boring to me and slow. Like
people. It's not slow at all. What? Okay. So, the area outside the Vim Factory, that is a terrible second area, and I hate it. But everything else is fine.
I don't like going through the desert. I don't like the Vim Fat like outside.
Oh, I kind of like Gritty Desert. No, that's
I
fine.
like
Dude.
the
That's opinion.
Coliseum, like the Koopaseum. I like that. That
Oh
was
yeah,
just,
that was good.
I wasn't fond of Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Belly.
Yeah, Youp's Belly.
Yeah,
I love
Yu's
Yube's Belly. It's such a. I love that.
And
The
I
thing.
sometimes feel there's like difficulty spikes in part of the game, just a
Okay.
little bit.
Yeah. So by the time you're at Star Hill and you start
Oh.
fighting the referee with the mushroom bomb, that's when the bosses in the US version. That's when the bosses in the US version become HP sponges.
Yeah,
Okay.
for some reason they made
Let
the
me-
US versions harder.
Okay, no. Here's how it went down. Okay, so Partners in Time
This is the first time.
was okay. So okay. This is a whole complicated thing, but I'd like to explain. So Partners in Time was released on the USA first, and as you know, the first version of a game to release is often the most buggy. Is often the most buggy and the one with the most questionable hiccups. Then the Japanese version releases. It slashes the boss's health in half and slashes some other boss amounts of health. And then the European version releases, and it is a combination of the Japanese, the Japanese health of the bosses with the American text, with a few changes, I'm sure, for localization. But most of it is just the American version with the Japanese version. But the thing about that is there was a subtle 1.01 version released, like with Mario 64 released in America, with super late print copies. And you can tell that it's a late US production cart or European cart by two things. Either that the bosses go down way sooner than they do in US cart, or you find it out how I did, because in the Japanese and European and late US versions, and I'm sorry if this is going on for a long time, there is a music box version of the main theme that plays after the main credits that is not featured in any other version. That is not featured in the original. So it's not featured in the US version, is what I'm saying. So it's HP sponge problem, totally fixed, but just in later versions of the game. So,
It's like Battletoads. It had many glitches in the US version, and it was fixed in the European version just to make
And
everyone
Pikmin.
angry.
And Pikmin Wii as well.
Wow.
But
That's
yeah,
the first time hearing this.
Partners in Time is just a complication. Partners in Time is just a complicated, annoying situation overall.
Like, I feel like it started off like slow for me, but when I got to further in the game, it felt a little faster, but then the bosses just felt like what?
Yeah, I know, right? I'm glad they fixed that. But I will say, a lot of people say that the problem with Partners in Time is that it's linear, when literally every Mario RPG is linear. There is a linear sequence of events that you cannot break from at any point apart from side quests. And that is
Whoa.
a fact about every single Mario RPG. And that complaint about Partners in Time is null and void, because if you're going to apply it to Partners in Time, you should apply it to everything else.
Wait, people think Superstar Saga is better than Partners in Time?
People think Superstar Saga is the best entry in the.
Yeah.
That does not make sense to me.
X for doubt.
I think it kind of makes sense.
Here's the thing. No. There's one element of Superstar Saga that puts it below every other Mario RPG, and that is the fact that A and B are not universally connected to Mario and Luigi because you switch places and therefore switch button commands, and that doesn't even switch in battle. So the whole theme of the series being Mario is binded to A and Luigi is binded to B is screwed up in the first entry and has to be fixed in the second and subsequents.
Now that I think about it,
Mm,
I do kind of find. I think I. Oh,
It
okay.
fundamentally breaks it.
it wasn't really that big of an issue, though.
But
'Cause,
I
like,
think
it's-
the other
it-
entries do it better.
I mean, you're functioning with like two characters, and the only time you're ever going to switch between the two is just for overall puzzle solving.
But at the same time, it's super inconvenient. It doesn't even make sense originally ending.
It's really situational, though.
That doesn't mean it's not bad. But in any case, I don't get the linearity complaint with Partners in Time.
Also, I wasn't like I went from like thousand not Thousand Year Door Persona 5. No, okay.
So many RPGs, so little time.
Okay, so what I was trying to say was I think Partners in Time was like the last Mario and Luigi I touched before playing before I started, Dream Team. And I think I was like so used to having, like the battle system. The babies, they were cool, but I also wasn't fond of like, the things. It's probably just me, like the things being like items, and I had to constantly buy.
No,
them.
that was a big complaint. I don't
Yeah.
personally. I personally don't find it bothersome because if you think about it, and sorry to rant again, but I'll make this one quick. But imagine having BP for each individual bro and their baby. Imagine
Oh
that.
God.
Oh, I mean, you could
Oh.
tie you could tie them to the one specific, like Baby Mario share the same BP, like that sort
I
of
mean,
thing.
you could, but then you could, but I think it's just easier from a development standpoint to just make them items. And it's
I mean,
not like
true,
the items
but
are.
it does eliminate that tinge of strategy Mario and Luigi's gameplay usually has, because you could just buy the
True.
same item over and over and just reuse it.
True, but they sort of compensated that. But I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why they compensated with larger HP in the original version.
To this day, I still can't beat Princess Shrew.
Oh,
Oh, she was tough for me back in the day. For like
Elder
months, I did not know her crown was her weak point, so I just kept spamming the copy flower over and over.
That's why you always open with Nova Flower or whatever you
Mixed flower, I think it's
mixed
called.
flower. That's what it is.
I did it once when she lost her foot, and I'm like, wait, what is that other damage point? What the heck just happened?
Pardonnez-moi, what is the?
I honestly wish they could remake the game. Like the game, I believe, like
I just want.
For
I think
sure.
that. Yeah, I think that having the Shroob show up again maybe would be interesting because
I'm
I mean
hoping
Mario.
that's like the next story for the next Mario and Luigi game. I think that'd be a good way to keep on going.
Yeah,
know
because
what?
remember, Fawful had an arc throughout their games. That's one thing I like about the storytelling of Mario. That's one thing I like about the storytelling about Mario RPG over Paper Mario, is that Fawful got a 3-game arc, and it was so cool how he started from a lowly minion, then he finds the Dark Star in the sewers and decides to hide out there in Partners in Time, and then he pretty much almost takes over the entire kingdom.
Viri
It's so
testifies.
cool.
And he died.
And then he dies. His arc is completed. It's not like Shadow the Hedgehog, supposed to die, but then showed up in every other game.
There is one common criticism people have of Partners in Time. It's that like how often you switch between the bros and the babies.
I thought that
Like
was
going
kind of
into all those different like holes and then all the different puzzle solving. Like you switch out between the both of them like a little bit too frequently.
But it made such good use of the top and bottom. Bite the bullet on that.
I guess so.
I mean, kind of, but still, it felt very like annoying.
Yeah,
trying
It
to go
was
between.
annoying.
I can understand that though. I can totally understand that. And they sort of,
especially from those from like a grinding perspective, trying to like buff up all four of them on like a relatively even level.
I think they balanced out the enemies good enough for that case. Honestly, I think they made it work out pretty well. But I think Bowser's Inside did the dual screen switching a lot better.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. But I just love the fact that Partners in Time decided to do something like that, and it's probably the only game where a 4-partner party system for Mario and Luigi could work. And I think it was worth doing it just for that case.
I'm about to insert a hot take right now. I honestly think Mario and Luigi fans are kind of blowing it out of proportion when they say Mario and Luigi's like dying. Because like,
No.
why are people saying Mario and Luigi?
No.
because like it's not because like Paper Jam and Dream Team, they're not nearly as original, creative as Superstar Saga, Bowser Inside Story.
Wait,
The gameplay's been the same the whole time. It's arguably gotten better.
Wait a
It's
minute.
not nearly as
Dream
bad as
Team
Super
isn't
Mario.
creative as. How is Dream Team not as creative?
Because
it's like tutorials.
Oh,
That
that,
doesn't
too.
mean it's not
The
creative.
tutorials taken. I mean, Paper Jam addresses that issue, but still, that and Dream Team does use a lot of elements from Bowser's Inside Story. Though I don't think that's a bad thing. Bowser's Inside Story was already a really good game. Dream Team improved on it in some areas.
I love how Bowser's Inside Story has like a universe. I love how Bowser's Inside Story like introduced an actual music track for Bowser across the latter trilogy between Bowser's Inside Story and Paper Jam. How he kept that.
At least the writing's good too.
But here's the
it's not flanderized like in freaking Sticker Star.
Well, you can't call it flanderized. You can't call it flanderized.
Well, bad.
You can't call it flanderized if it doesn't exist. Here's the thing. You know what I don't get? Why do people say Dream Team isn't as creative as Bowser's Inside Story? Because you literally go into Luigi's psyche. Has any other game explored the bros, the Mario Brothers relationship with one another as much as Dream Team?
I do think Dream Team has like the best character development out of every Mario and Luigi, especially for Luigi and Bowser.
Dude, Dude, Bowser duping Phantasma at the end. He had been duped by 3 other villains in that, and then he betrays Phantasma, and then Dream Team. And then Paper Jam does it again, where Bowser and Bowser are going to betray each other after beating Bros.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle arc, but it shows that Bowser is. It shows that Bowser isn't a sucker, and that he'll actually get things done. But Dream Team is so creative. The whole like idea of an island full of dreams, locations, like even the sand area is super creative. How it's like it's so uniquely like colorized.
I also think it's because of like the fact that we have like nothing but 2 remakes now. We haven't had a new Mario and Luigi game for a while.
That's because the thing is, one, new hardware. Alpha Dream's got to work with entirely new. They got the 3D engine, the 3DS engine down pat. The remakes are just easier to make and are worth making, and and the Bowser's Inside Story remake could only be remade in 3D in the dual screen format and be as effective. And Superstar Saga just needed a remake in general because there were a lot of elements of Superstar Saga that just needed some ironing out because it was the first entry. And I think it really helped for them to remake those. But just because the game has 2 remakes in a row doesn't mean that they aren't coming up with original new ideas. Since Alpha Dream has literally stated that they're working on something for Switch. Watch it be a Tomato Land too.
Oh my god.
I actually do wonder what Mario and Luigi would look like on the Switch.
I can't wait for it though. Dude, I think it's gonna look great.
I hope that goes fully 3D because I love the 3D aesthetic of Dream Team and Paper Jam.
Yeah,
And the
will
fact,
make me interested in this series for once.
and here's the thing about that actually. Mario and Luigi kind of has a reputation, so as of recently, for hinting at new elements being in new entries. For example, Bowser Jr. shows up as a secret boss in Dream Team, and then he ends up being in Paper Jam as a major character. And there are a few other instances, such as I can't remember them off the top of my head, but there's like this whole conspiracy and idea that Dry Bowser being turned into a full Dry Bowser in Bowser Jr.'s journey is a fully 3D model. It's not a sprite. He shows up at the end of the game and he's a fully 3D model. So people are wondering if this hints, along with Cackless Soul, actually. So people are wondering if maybe this is a hint that we're going to be getting a fully 3D Mario and Luigi.
Well, if it's coming on
And-
consoles, I think it's reasonable to suspect we will.
And they have to make a whole new engine and everything. I mean, I'd rather them not rush the game. I'd rather they make something creative, take their time to come up with the original designs as they promised they would, because they did say that they would come up with original characters for Mario and Luigi 6. Again, showing that Alpha Dream was probably goaded by Intelligent Systems to make it so that original characters can show up.
That's partially why I think we're not going to get a new Mario and Luigi game for like a little bit of a good while. Because it was last July, I think they put up like a job listing for like new employees, right? To help them like develop games for Switch, PlayStation, and I forget the other system. But if that job listing and the development's going smoothly, I think it's reasonable to suspect they're like maybe 40-50% through development right now. So we might not even get a new Mario and Luigi for like another 2 years, 3 years.
Okay, so Mario and Luigi Dream Team, which is the first Mario and Luigi game to come, came out in 2013. And what year did the 3DS release?
2011.
2011?
Well, considering the Switch is a much more get as much out of it as I can, considering the 3D building off of the DS and was already a dual screen system, something Alpha Dream was already very familiar with 2 other games, I think it's reasonable to assume that they need to get back into the swing of making a game that only uses a single screen, since Superstar Saga is literally the only game in the series to do that. So they got to get back to the swing of not using dual screen gimmicks. Well, they aren't really gimmicks. They actually do play a lot. And working with more powerful hardware. So I think it's worth the wait.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's not worth the wait. Like, give them all the time they need. I just think it'll probably take them a longer while than usual.
I know, but this whole thing stems off the idea that people think Mario and Luigi is dead. That's not true.
Or quote unquote dying. But
Mario
I
Luigi
honestly
is
think that's
so
being
suffering.
overdramatic.
Yeah, how is the fan Mario? Okay, a question to everyone in the comments if you made it this. I highly doubt you have, but a question to you guys, Mario and Luigi fans, if you watch this. How is your suffering waiting for a game when you got 2 remakes of 2 beloved classics any worse than what the Paper Mario community, Sonic community, and Banjo community has gone through for the past 15 years?
That's partially why I think the whole it's dying thing is overbloated. Because like the game's quality is still consistent. The gameplay's still good. The writing's still good. The graphical fidelity's still good. There's not as many original characters and original settings. Like if you look at Paper Jam, there's all these remakes, sure, but the game's still heavily enjoyable. It's still Mario and Luigi at its core, as we'd all remember it, as we'd all enjoy it.
They don't know the feeling of disappointment.
Yeah, they don't get what Paper Mario fans have gone through. I like Sticker Star, but I totally get why Paper Mario fans are. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I like Color Splash, but holy crap, I can understand.
The last turn-based Paper Mario game came out when I was 6 years old.
I'm not blasting every Mario and Luigi fan who like hates Paper Jam 2, by the way. I'm just saying like those who feel Mario and Luigi is like on an uncreative like dive, it's on its way out, or is like a 3 strikes out type thing, it's on its first strike. like
No.
Paper Mario is, or like comparing it to Paper Mario. It's like no,
wouldn't even
you guys are
consider
fine.
Paper.
You guys
I
are
wouldn't
completely fine.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even consider Paper Jam a strike, considering how many gameplay.
Yeah,
There's so
Paper
many
Jam-
different. The action guide alone justifies its existence.
It literally got rid of the tutorial problem too.
Oh
Like,
my gosh!
I do think Paper Jam is the worst Mario and Luigi game. That being said, I don't think there is a bad Mario and Luigi game. Even Partners in
Exactly.
Time I like.
You may call a Mario and Luigi game the worst Mario and Luigi game, but no matter what entry it is, I don't think it's reasonable to say that you can call it objectively bad, because they all improve upon each other just in different ways. Plus, Paper Mario is just a cool part of that game, and I love the trio attacks.
Yeah, as much as I don't like Partners in Time, I don't think it's a bad game.
I'm giving this as an unbiased perspective as possible. I think Partners in Time is probably the fourth worst if I was to rank the others. I love Partners in Time, so like I'm trying not to put bias in there, but like I can kind of see why people say the game is linear. Like, I mean, yeah, every Mario and Luigi game is linear, but I think Superstar Saga, for example, had more of an open perspective to it. Like, yeah, and it does a better job masking it. Plus, like, it's not as walled off as like Partners in Time is. Plus, like the progression to like get to different areas is kind of a bit of annoying in Partners in Time, like going through up and down the castle over and over.
Luckily, yeah, and plus Bros Ball, the fastest way of transportation, isn't used very often because the babies are usually with you.
Yeah, and it comes kind of late into the game.
If you want the most balanced perspective of Partners in Time on the internet ever, you can come to me, because that's obviously me. But if you want the second best, then obviously you should go watch Chugga Conroy, and that's to everyone in the audience as well. If you want a good balanced perspective of Partners in Time, then you watch Chugga Conroy, because he's great when it comes to balancing the good and the bad of things.
Dream
But,
Team, I
Perfectly
probably
balanced,
placed.
as all things should be.
Huh.
Dream Team is my least favorite.
Something should be, yo.
Dream Team is my least favorite because of the gyro controls. Yeah.
You're not a big fan of gyro controls?
3DS gyro specifically.
Oh yeah, you look stupid
Zkeeper!
using gyros for 3DS games.
Oh wait, I remember I was playing.
Yeah, I just imagine So Come Johnny when he's playing Sonic Lost World.
Oh, oh
You're
no!
spinning, your shoulders and back are gonna hurt.
Oh no! But Nerdy, how long have we been recording?
2
2
hours.
hours and 5 minutes.
Hey, that's a new record, I think. So,
Yeah, and I gotta get a. I gotta.
but here's the thing. I think that includes like the 15-minute startup. So I think that we talked a lot about Paper Mario. We talked a bit about Mario and Luigi, and this has been really fun. Have you guys had fun? I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yes,
I had
sir,
fun.
I did.
I can't
So-
really talk very much, so I've been browsing Reddit for the past 2 hours.
Yeah. Ah, nice.
Did you find Sonya fan art?
Oh,
Sonya's my favorite Sonic Underground character.
Oh, I'm talking Sonya for Pokemon Sword and
I
Shield.
know.
SMT,
Yes,
are you
yes,
trying
we
to
have.
say
You look at
something?
Not Safe for Work in your channel. You, if
You're
you're
no
a server, you'll
sweaty
see it.
again.
You gotta go sweaty again,
all
SMT.
right, calm it down.
That was me with the Battle for Bikini Bottom
Oh.
remake.
Yes, that remake. Yes.
Guys,
Yes, just yes.
Well,
I
if we have
completely-
SMT on again, maybe we'll do a variety hour about a bunch of different stuff with him. but-
no, we need
Yes.
to talk about JoJo.
Not, I will watch JoJo just so we can talk about it on a podcast alone. But
Yes.
for
Yes.
now, I think that we've done all. I think that we talked a lot. We got a lot of opinions out, and we did it without yelling at each other against each other. I mean, I yelled, but it wasn't
Something
to you
new
guys.
about this fan base. Holy
At you guys.
shit.
Did you guys yell at each other the first time?
This is the first.
No,
one.
no,
Okay.
not at all.
The
Except
reason
when
why we
I
haven't
was
yelled is because Kat isn't here.
Oof. But anyways, I think that again, I think we can call it here. So if you guys want, you can say your goodbyes, and then I will do the outro.
Do I say
Oh,
Utah
ST, plug your
again?
channel. Plug your channel.
Yo, I got a YouTube channel. I'm gonna be covering a bunch of E3 stuff. I'm gonna be making a predictions video. I'm gonna be talking Pokemon, SpongeBob, Mario, God
And it
knows
might
what Sonic's gonna have if he's even gonna have anything at this E3. I don't even know.
He probably won't.
And beyond E3, we know SMT stuff planned that we won't spoil. But SMT's got a lot planned, and he is a really great content creator. I recommend that you watch his stuff. He is
Thank you
so
very
good.
much.
I was introduced to the whole idea of Paper Mario discussions through him, and he's become one of my favorite people ever. So
We're on one of his
not just on
podcasts.
Thank you
YouTube,
very
either,
much.
just
And
as a
he
friend in
has a
general.
love for a certain goddess.
Oh God.
well-
What? Oh, I can't hear you. I'm running a narrow. Narrow plane. Nair.
Nice.
Palu.
Narrow
Nair.
plane.
I call it the narrow plane.
Nice. But Shady?
Oh yeah. This is the
I'm
first
curious.
podcast I've ever been on, and I've been like extremely nervous. I don't know if I like was
It's
bad
casual.
during this
It's
podcast.
Come on, you did a
casual.
great job.
You were fine. I'd say
If
you
you
were
want,
fine.
we'll totally have you on again.
Sure, I would definitely. It will help me get out. It will help me get out there because I want to do commentary on YouTube. Also, you can follow me on twitter.com at Sanic and Marrow 34 on Twitter.
I will be-
guess
I will be
do
sure to
art
plug that as
sometimes.
well.
I do art sometimes on there, but most of the times I'm tweeting news and whatnot, which I'm hoping to become a better artist as time progresses.
Siren?
So it was nice to talk with the Prince of Personality for 2 hours.
Nice. I've done it twice now.
Oh yes, Siren. I also saw you talking in general chat and SPT server. I saw you. You apparently were browsing Discord as well.
No, that was it. Because Mario Luigi, I don't.
Yeah.
All right.
But this
And
was fun.
Nerdy, where can we find you?
Twitch. At NerdyU95 Twitch. Please, I need followers and
God.
the only concurrent
This
viewer
man
I
is
have,
desperate, people.
The only concurrent viewer I have is my dad's coworker, and I streamed VR Minecraft and I screamed at the top of my lungs one time. So
He'll stop asking for it once you give it to him. Just so that
probably won't.
he doesn't have to bring it up in a podcast ever again. Just follow him, please.
I'm gonna bring him
Trust
up
me, he needs
again.
$1 to buy DLC.
All right. So, as for me, I'm Titus Richards, and if you somehow don't know how to find me, then wow, that's kind of sad, honestly. But it is great to be able to talk with you guys about this sort of stuff. And who knows, maybe in the future we might have these fine people on again. I know Nerdy will be on again, but
Yeah,
maybe
'cause
we'll
I
have
kinda
SMT
have to be
on.
here. Or
So,
Yeah,
SMT may
yeah.
have us. Flip flop around.
So-
Hey.
I think that will be all. So until the stars align again, this is Titus Richards and his Constellation crew signing off. See you guys
Yeehaw.
later, and cut the tape.
Stay
Cut the
tuned.